1819 News.
A state lawmaker and the former Secretary of State for Alabama, John Merrill, are disputing the current Secretary of State, Wes Allen, over an election law and its application. State Representative Chad Robertson offered a bill last year that was passed that relieves the burden of cost for small municipalities and candidates when it comes to filing annual reports as required by state election law. The waiver in HB 156 would apply to a candidate until he or she receives contributions that exceed $1,000 or they spend more than $1,000 on their campaign. Now Robertson says the Secretary of State is not clarifying that this waiver does not apply to candidates in bigger political races who have raised thousands of dollars. These candidates appear to be not filing their 2024 annual reports. Robertson says this defeats the purpose of his bill, which was to help candidates seeking office in smaller, less expensive political races. Former Secretary of State John Merrill told 1819 News reporter April Marie Fogel that Secretary of State staff members provided him with incorrect information and interpretation on this law. Wes Allen has deferred any questions on the issue to his spokesperson. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Brian Dawson here, CEO of 1819 News. I'm also the host of 1819 News, the podcast, and we'd love for you to join us by listening to our weekly show on all the top podcast apps, both in audio and video format. At 1819 News, the podcast, we are in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama. Every week, we're having important conversations with guests from across this great state, all with the goal of equipping Alabamians to be in pursuit of a free and flourishing Alabama with us. New episodes are released weekly. I hope you'll join us.
Human remains recently found in Birmingham have now been identified as a man who went missing in 1999. Jefferson County Coroner's Office has identified the skeletal remains as that of 38-year-old Daryl Munningham. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
Since 1966, Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches has been more than just a place to stay. It's been a place to belong. For children facing hardships through no fault of their own, our ranches provide more than shelter. We offer a warm home, a loving family, and a future filled with hope. With open arms, we welcome these young hearts, giving them the love, structure, and guidance they need to heal, grow, and thrive in a warm Christian environment. Together, we can give Alabama's children the chance they deserve, a chance to dream, to succeed, and to feel truly cherished. Every donation stays within Alabama, directly impacting the lives of the children who need it most. Join us in making a difference. Visit AlabamaSheriffsYouthRanches.org. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and download our app from your app store. We'd be honored to have you as a part of our mission to lift up Alabama's youth. And remember this, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 special. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. For Montgomery's conversational radio show, it's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program.
Eddie Bader and Byron Sheehy here in the studio with me today. Plenty of news to get to from, well, the passing of legendary actor Gene Hackman and a bit mysterious circumstances around it. He was 95, but his wife was much younger and the dog died as well.
Wife was like 65, 63.
Yeah, something like that. And then, of course, the Epstein files are supposed to be released today.
Yep.
The FAA is now looking to use Starlink instead of Verizon for their air traffic control connectivity and communications. The Supreme Court of the United States said actually the Trump administration doesn't have to unfreeze all these USAID programs.
Correct.
The Democrats are trying to reach out to young men. Do you think Gretchen Whitmer, that
No.
Cruella DeVille, will do the trick? And then, of course, we have the legislative session going on in Sweet Home Alabama, but my mind, gentlemen, is on the governor. I don't mean to speak ill of my elders, but Kay Ivey seems to have become a little vindictive, Sugar, and I posted that in the Book of Faces and got a lot of responses.
Yeah?
One guy said, "Oh, you little fireman, what did you do to her?" Like, come on, I'm never going to live that down. It wasn't my idea.
And I backed off.
Oh, man.
But that brings up a lot of
You
questions,
say
Joey.
become vindictive.
Oh, you think she's always been?
Did we not have a member of the legislature not too long ago kind of say that there was whiteboard and black marks and green writing and red writing, and if you fell on the wrong side of the...
Oh, yeah, Jeff Ford was telling us that yesterday.
Okay,
So
yeah.
you think she's just always been this way? She just hit it a little better.
Well, I think now more people are becoming aware. Maybe it's the change in technology or people just waking up or what have you.
Maybe so. And Benson says she's a true rhino. Brannon says she's just a drunk old lady who's out of her mind. Woo!
Well, she's governor, so
Jim says she wants all the power.
she's got it.
Ashley, oh, hey, Ashley says, bless her heart.
Yeah.
Well, that's the classic here in Bama. David says she's a joke who has betrayed her constituents. Bill Long says, Sugar, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right. And Bo Holt, how you doing, Bo?
What's up, Bo?
It's almost like she's not going to be up for re-election again. Yeah, well said. Well said.
Burning them bridges, man. She don't care.
I think
She didn't care
a
when she
couple
come
of
in.
my two favorites is Me Mawful
Yeah, that's not bad.
and Pretty Low for a High Stepper.
Yeah, Mike says, have you ever heard of a mean drunk? May I present you the one irritated Meemaw? Kathy says she needs to go, tired of looking at her. Ooh. And then Tammy, this might be my favorite comment on this post. Tammy says, you know the term limits we talked about? Well, I think this should be her swan song retirement year. Let the younger folks take over. Can't do any worse than the old parts we have running the government now, and I say that as an old part myself. And yes, bless her heart, Tammy follows up with that comment and says, that is fart. Spell check didn't like me saying fart. Thank you for that comment, Tammy.
I want to believe that that's the Tammy that calls in to find Bond that's really rambunctious.
And Brian says, I still remember hearing her voice on the radio, lying to everybody about the gas tax being used to immediately start widening I-65 and 85 through Alabama. I wonder how much blood has been spilled from her direct inaction on those roadways. Mike also follows up saying, Bob Riley must do better controlling his puppet, just saying. Oh. And Jennifer says it seems to be a free-for-all at the State House.
Did
this year.
anybody say anything nice?
I didn't get anything nice. I don't know. I think maybe it's just how I am. I don't attract a lot of the Kay Ivey lovers. Fans, I mean. Fans.
As a
Right.
ex-fan, you don't attract many of those.
No, I don't even start with that again. Don't even
What,
start
ex-fan?
with that. An X-fan?
Ex-fan.
Oh, a fan of X.
Yes.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
We'll
I
see.
thought it was you there.
I honored her on X the other day when I put all those AI, like the many things she's
Those are
accomplished
some
in the
really
past
good
year.
ones, I thought, Joey.
Especially slaying that dragon.
You should have got some brownie points for that.
And joining us here is now Erica Thomas, editor-at-large at 1819news.com. Erica, how you doing?
Howdy, y'all. I'm doing good. Just down here in Baldwin County, enjoying a beautiful day. I can't wait to go take a walk this afternoon. But yeah, this Ivy stuff has been shocking to watch it play out and just kind of see how her people are dealing with the media. And I mean, Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth coming in and saving the day last night. That was interesting. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of that.
For folks who don't know, like there was supposed to be a big reception with the Republican women's group. And then they passed a resolution opposing this big overhaul of the Veterans Board, and Ivy rescinded the invitation. You don't treat a high stepper that way.
That's just some mean girl stuff.
And so you're right, Erica. Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth came in with a solid there at the Montgomery Country Club and put on a great event. Good on you, Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth. But
I declare.
We need to do Talk Like KIV Day. I think they would really appreciate that at the governor. Missy, what is this fool on the radio saying?
The phone lines would be packed.
You're going to have to clarify, are we going to use like some of the same content that she would use? Because that might be pretty mean-spirited.
Same content? Oh, yeah, no. Not verbatim.
I'm going to kick them puppies.
No, I hope not. I hope nobody kicks any puppies. My God. I mean, what have you... Does this surprise you, Erica, this sort of pettiness?
I've been in the news business for a while, so no. I mean, that's my simple answer. I'm just not surprised. You know, you get around people and you realize how things work, how this business of politics works, and it's unfortunate. But this stuff happens all the time. This is just a very large scale because this is the governor of the state.
Right. And it's for all to see. But let's shift over to better things. Mardi Gras is upon us, right? And
oh, yeah.
And so before we get into this story about Mobile Sergeant John Young, what are your kind of favorite, do you have good memories about going to some Mardi Gras parades down in the Mobile area?
Oh, Joey. So I don't really do anything ever. I just kind of stay at home. I've been to, I think, one parade and one ball. But I always stayed at the ball for like an hour. And then the parade was just in Foley. I've never been to Mobile for that. But I know that it's really fun to let the good times roll. Maybe one day I'll get out and about and be able to do it. But, you know, we're just, I'm all the way in Baldwin County, so I'm not sure. But I have seen a lot of stuff on social media about how great these events are. People come from all over, and they get to enjoy Alabama's Gulf Coast along with the Mardi Gras celebration, which is a really huge deal for Mobile because that's where Mardi Gras started. And so I'm happy that they get to celebrate and enjoy it. And like I said, maybe one day I will do the same.
Yeah, I have fond memories. You know, I have a uncle who's in on the Archdiocese, so there's a porch right there in the rectory that's on the actual main street. And I remember being pretty young and having a pretty good view and catching some moon pies and some beads and whatnot.
Remote.
Oh, yeah. I've been to that Archdiocese in the last month or so, and I was walking around, and all around there they have, even some of the statues have beads on them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a beautiful spot here in the state and in the city, but you just have a story, and I've talked to this gentleman before on the show, Mobile Sergeant John Young, and he's calling for parade goers to turn their backs on quote-unquote twerking children in Mardi Gras parades. What in the heck?
Yeah, well, if you've been to any parade, really, in the last, 5 to 10 years, you may have seen some of these dance troupes come through. They have children. Sometimes they're just adorable and cute, and they have, cute music they're dancing to and cute little tutus. But what Young is worried about are these children that are, I call them twerking toddlers. But they range from, like 4 years old to even teenagers. And they're doing very sexually suggestive moves. They're wearing clothes that are very revealing. And so this caught the attention of Sergeant John Young. He's also a founding member of Men United Against Violence. And so a lot of people, he has some name recognition. But he said the more and more he goes to these parades, the more and more he notices it's getting worse. And he calls it gross. He said it's just not suitable for anyone in public, especially children, but really no one, in his opinion, should be dancing this way. And he kind of parlays it into the issue with human trafficking. He said predators could be waiting in the shadows, watching and targeting these children. In other things, like he doesn't want these young children, these young women to grow up thinking that that's how they get attention and acceptance, is by being sexually suggestive.
You have a question, Byron?
What's the easiest solution to stop this? I mean, can the mayor just say, we're not going to allow this? Because, I mean, this seems like this should be some sort of community standard, just sort of common sense solution. Like, hey, if you got kids doing suggestive dancing, that's not allowed here.
Yeah, so I think the simple answer is Young said he's going to go address the city council next week. They're meeting on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because of Mardi Gras, but he's going to go address them and ask, hey, can we just please protect these children by whenever we approve participants in parades, make sure that they have rules to go by. And if they break those rules, they're no longer allowed to participate in parades.
Yeah.
This is hypersexuality type of things that if they do that, they can't participate anymore.
Yeah, I think basic public standards when it comes to these sorts of things are just fine. I just find it like it's like I don't often go to stuff like this. I haven't been to a Mardi Gras parade since I was a kid, and just what is it like? Is it just because these are popular dances and like people are like, let's have the little.
It doesn't matter to me, man. It doesn't matter if you're sexually exploiting children. I mean, that's not art.
Young, he's a black man, and he seems to think that this is a black cultural issue that started with rap videos that people saw on television or on the internet. And so this is a subject that he's tackled several times. He feels like his culture has fallen, and he wants the young men and women in the black community to stand up and say no more of this. We're not.
Well, folks, y'all can check out the article and read it yourself. Again, the headline is Mobile Sergeant John Young calls for parade goers to turn backs on quote-unquote twerking children in Mardi Gras parades. Looks like you did a little write-up on this whole high-speed chase, and I was a little worried when it ended in a crash that, okay, are the people dead? But it turns out the driver and passenger were just injured, right?
Yeah, but the passenger was injured critically. They had to be airlifted to UAB hospital. Now, the driver was taken to Baptist Medical Center South. But this all started in Prattville yesterday on the interstate, and one of the officers saw a Toyota Camry that was apparently involved in a hit and run earlier, and so that's why the chase happened. Now, there's a lot of people that are like, is this worth it? Somebody else could have gotten killed, an innocent bystander for a hit and run. That's up for debate, but they did decide to pursue this vehicle. Several other agencies got involved in this crash, including the aviation unit with Aaliyah. So they had like a helicopter out there looking for these people. They went all the way from Tauga County into Montgomery, and that's where the crash ended on Highway 231.
And you always wonder in one of these high-speed chases, like, are we eventually going to get like a Hellcat out there or something? But no, this is a Toyota Camry.
Well, now, I wouldn't say there's, I've seen Hellcat chases too. Actually, that's kind of a popular car that gets stolen. So a lot of times that would be one that would be involved in a chase. And I don't know if you've seen the new Toyota Camrys or not, but they're pretty bad.
Yeah, that's just the aesthetic look of them. Like, they actually have something humming under that hood?
Some of the newer ones are very fast.
Eddie's over here smirking. What's going through your mind right now?
It's a small four-cylinder car. It's not the car. It's the people that were behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And the folks that were chasing.
And they didn't say it was a high-speed chase.
Right. I listened to it on the thing yesterday. We heard them going through Woodmere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's
No,
obviously a disconnect
say,
in driver's ability and police's ability. Huge disconnect.
I also didn't see anywhere where it was a four-cylinder. But, if you did.
No, I just assume it's
they
a Toyota.
They do make a V6 also.
Yeah, maybe it was a souped up edition.
Could have been.
You just seem so like
it's laughable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Keystone Cops chasing 5-year-old and they couldn't catch them. At the end of the day, it put everybody in danger because lack of skills.
It's not like a LTD. I mean, this could be a cool car. I'm telling you, the new ones, they have great options.
Wait, are you the Toyota fan? I'm not trying to put down
you
the
have
Toyota.
stock in Toyota? What is this?
I mean, we definitely.
It's a beautiful car. I'll go buy one tomorrow.
I don't even work for Toyota, I promise. But my dad is a mechanic, so I mean, I would drive it.
I need a getaway driver.
Just don't do the high speed chase. It's just a waste of. That is a waste. It is dangerous.
Yeah.
It is absurd. And before I let you go, it's kind of follow up because for a while there were all these billboards. Maybe they're still up. The Birmingham area, one in particular, taking on Senator Britt, and it looks like Katie Britt is not shying away from supporting DOGE and the Trump agenda. In fact, she seems to be fully supportive of it.
Yeah, I spoke with her about a couple of things with her team. One of the things was the DOGE actions and how they are kind of looking into this OPM operation.
Mm-hmm.
And so, long story short on that, OPM is the Office of Personnel Management. And there's a man in Baldwin County where I live who was a retired Homeland Security Special Agent. And when he retired, it took months for him to get his retirement benefits to the point where, like he said, that it ruined his life and financially ruined him and his family. And so the reason for that is because DOGE found these applications are processed by hand in an underground mine, which is just very archaic. It's a crazy thing to think about, but that's what they're doing, and that's why it's taken so long. And there's lawsuits about this. Angelo Fermo is the guy that I spoke with about it. And then Britt, she responded by saying, this is an example of how just because this is a federal issue in Washington, it's an example of how some of the inefficient things the government has been doing for years and years and years. There's no computer involved in this underground mine. It's just by hand stuff. She said that's how it can impact you, an individual in Alabama. And she says that she is going to support DOGE in their efforts to kind of get this system up to par.
Yeah, and I like seeing both of our senators behind this, but I know there was going to be a lot of pressure put on her, and it's just good to see that her office, that Katie herself, is backing what I think is still a very good idea. I'm just worried about, I don't know if you've gotten into the details, Erica, of this Congress, like working through the budget and reconciliation process. I'm a little nervous about what they're actually going to come up with at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I keep watching. I think, we just get a little bit here, a little bit there. I mean, I'm nervous about different things when it comes to federal funding, but at the end of the day, we just have to trust the process and hope that we all make it through.
Well, I always appreciate your time. If folks want to check out what you write about, thinking about, how can they do so?
Well, definitely head over to 1819news.com. You can subscribe for our daily newsletter. We don't send a ton of emails. We send like one every morning just to let you know the top stuff that not only you want to know about, but also you need to know about if you're all about Alabama values, which is what we're about. We have a huge team in Montgomery right now covering this legislative session like no other outlet. We have all of the wonderful reporters there telling you day by day what's going on. It's just incredible. It's a great way to stay updated because these things, just like Katie Britt said about the federal government, our state government really impacts every individual. So it's important to stay up to date. And we put it in a simple, clear way where you can understand but really get all the details of what's going on in Montgomery. So head over to 1819news.com. You can also email us all at news@1819news.com.
Appreciate it as always, Erica. We'll do it again soon.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Again, that's Erica Thomas, editor-at-large there at 1819news.com. And I'm looking at 1819 News again. Craig Munger He has got a report out, says the Marine Corps League is opposing the legislation that would make the Alabama Department of Veterans Affairs Commissioner a governor cabinet position while restructuring the role and authority of the State Board of Veterans Affairs. Senate lawmakers heavily amended the original bill that was pushed out, resulting in an eventual substitute, just for those keeping score, encompassing multiple changes, many of which were requested by veteran service organizations in the state. But despite the amendments, VSOs and individual veterans have objected to the perceived downgrading of the board, stripping it of all real authority. Supporters of the legislation have pointed out that an executive cabinet position cannot be held accountable to an independent board while serving at the governor's pleasure. Ivy announced on Tuesday that 3 of the 9 SBVA appointed VSOs had endorsed it. 3 of the 9, so 6 opposing.
Is he bragging about that?
Yeah, but I guess the Marine Corps League became the 4th name on the list after the group released a statement.
Okay.
In the statement, the league said emphatically that it did not wish to see ADVA or SBVA restructured, changed, or modified from its current construct, and therefore oppose any present modifications to how these two entities have traditionally operated since 1945. Wow, that is it's quite a change, and I don't know. We'll see what the House does. I mean, have y'all heard anything being pushed through?
I mean, I'm pretty certain it's going to pass. They're going to put the screws to everyone. I mean,
Yeah.
I know that there's some people out there that know that it's a bad bill. But
Yeah, they know it is. They're going to screw the veterans over. They don't give a crap no more. They give a crap about us.
Yeah, I mean,
It should be no surprise.
I actually heard someone say, well, we're just banking on the veterans not, really
Not caring.
remembering a year from now.
Yeah.
Goodness
But
gracious.
there's another session next year. Like there could be changes to this and overhaul it or a push next year. Like it's not going to go away if the veterans are upset over this.
I hope it doesn't go away, and they should be upset. I just wonder how many of them, for one, know anything about it, but for two, have the ability to do something besides
Well,
pick up a phone and call is what I wish they would do.
It is not pick up a phone and call. It's pick up a phone, call, but then pick up a phone and call 20 or 30 of your friends and hold these people accountable
There you go.
on election day. So we'll see.
And it also looks like the DOGE operations is affecting Alabama and recently canceled 7. DOGE recently canceled 7 federal leases in Alabama, saving around $5.2 million. According to DOGE, the lease cancellations in Alabama include facilities used by the National Labor Relations Board, the Corps of Engineers, the Social Security Administration, and the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. A spokesperson for DOGE estimated that the department under the Trump administration has saved taxpayers $65 billion annually.
Is there a way to see who the leasing agents or owners were?
That would be
I'd
my
love to
curiosity
know who
right there.
I'd imagine if you go look on doge.gov, you might be able to find
Or
some
if
of
you
those
get me the
details. They
address.
usually have the receipts right
You
there.
can find one of the buildings. We can find out who owns it.
Well, and speaking of that, I've got a fascinating clip with the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick. Brett Baer just talked to him, and it's a pretty good interview. They talk a lot about the gold cards.
Yeah.
But near the end, they talk about the post office. And Trump apparently told Lutnick, okay, I need you to come up with this. We spend $7 billion a year on the United States Postal Service. Honestly, I think to get rid of it, that's not the plan. You'd have to do. It's in the
It's the
Constitution.
Constitution, so it's almost impossible.
So Trump's like, well, what do we do with this thing? Because right now it's not.
It's inefficient.
It's a lot of money for not accomplishing too
Right.
much. And so, see if I can, actually get to the point I'm looking for where they are talking about this, because it was about a 15-minute interview. But kind of an interesting take, and it birdtails with this idea of shutting down certain buildings for certain agencies. So let me find this real quick here. Let's listen in.
Years, for sure. You can't build a factory in less than 2 years. So that's why you hear Donald Trump talking about, I'm going to clear the path on permitting. I'm going to clear the path on regulation. I'm going to let these factories get built here. And what you're going to see is the employment of electricians, but not an electrician who comes in and fixes our kitchen lights, but electricians who work in factories.
And that's them talking about tariffs. And Lutnick saying he was actually, and he was educated by Trump on the whole tariff thing. But here, he said, Oh, come
Okay,
on.
what do you got? He gives me the whole 24 hours to figure it out.
This is the post office.
And I said, well, the Commerce Department does the census. And we spend $40 billion every 10 years doing the census. And that means we hire 625,000 people. And they go and they rent cars and gas and you pay them food. And you know what they do? They go to every household in America and count the people.
Yep.
What department do we already have that already employs 625,000 people? It's got cars, already has gas, goes to every household. Can you imagine saying to your postman, can you count the people in the house? What day could he do the census? Monday? Could he double check it on Tuesday? How about Wednesday? He goes every day. So we can only save $40 billion or $4 billion a year, and we'll do a better job. And you know what else we can do with the post office? They can go to your house when you have a baby and give you the form for Social Security. And the 20,000 Social Security offices that we have, we just don't need them. We actually can do real customer service. Go right to your house. Someone died, here's the forms, you can fill it out. I'll bring them to your house. Customer service, why? Because we've got those people. Let's use the assets of the government to make us better and save us money. We can be smart, we're allowed.
What? I agree 100%.
Not with the Social Security part.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I've had to deal with those jerks down there. You have to go down there.
No, he's saying we're going to end
And
that.
I've dealt with post office people.
Yeah.
You know how many people kill postmen already? Let them find out your postman said screwed up your Social Security.
Yeah, but I don't think this goes far enough. You could cut the post office number probably in half. And I mean, look, when you said it's something we have to do responsibility wise for the government, that was from a long time ago when we didn't have the technology that we have now. So as far as facilitating a lot of that, there's not really that need there. The infrastructure's in place. So I love the outside the box thinking.
With
and
Social
agree with
Security,
that.
you're fixing to have a buttload of people start filing for Social Security, the biggest generation ever. I don't think that should be turned over to the guy who can't manage to put the right envelope in the right box 50% of the time.
Maybe we have a better quality person doing this, and it's more of a.
Now you're depending on the government to hire better people.
Well,
When it's a government program.
somebody's got to do it in the government.
No,
Yeah.
So the
got
current
to-
system's fine?
And notice you guys are very far away from ever having to depend on Social
Yeah,
Security.
we'll never get it.
Right. But as someone that's closer and someone that's seen people get theirs cut off, what do? I'm going to call. I'm going to wait on the postman. It's very important that you have someone from the government that you can go talk to. It's I know it sounds silly to you guys, but it's very, very important. Otherwise, what the hell have I been paying for my whole life? Is this just a scam? It's just in the internet or Ethernet out there?
Yeah,
that the
but
money's floating around?
to get basic files, I have to go sit in a building for 2 hours?
Not to get basic files, no, but to go get things turned back on. As far as the Social Security Administration and the childbirth thing, we did all that at the hospital.
Yeah, but what if that person facilitated as being sort of like your governmental liaison or individual caseworker for all those?
I've dealt with those people. No.
So
no, they barely can do the one job they have. God forbid we give them a second job.
Well, dang.
Yeah.
Then what do we do?
There's
Don't
tons
change
of
anything?
cuts to be there's tons of cut to be made, especially in the post office and in Social Security. However,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for blending two moron organizations together and expecting anything but worse.
Well, what if we got better quality people?
Yeah, like
All right, that starts with getting rid of the morons that hire the
but
morons
Eddie,
to begin
this
with.
whole OPM thing that is being doubled down on, there's a recent executive order. It says for every one person you hire, 4 must go out the door. The whole idea is to get rid of a lot of the folks that are underperforming.
That's fine to get rid of the
or
dead weight.
retire them early and whatnot.
But you don't put the risk of people that have paid Social Security in their whole life on, hey, maybe this will work, maybe this won't. One of the most annoying things about it, buying anything online, Amazon, whoever, is when it doesn't work. Who do I call? I'm at the mercy of my phone and my computer. As someone of my age, that is very, very frustrating. It's the whole reason Amazon allows people like Kohl's and them to take deliveries back now, because they were losing business over the fact there's not a person, not an individual or a building I can go take my raise out.
So are you against AI being involved with Social Security in any way, shape, or
Oh,
form?
no. There's some simple things that can be done, certainly. But there's also a threshold where you go, okay, I need a person.
I just think that person could be the
But,
person.
like, that
shows
person
up to-
could show up if you're
to
torn.
your house.
Again, you're blending two moron organizations together and hoping that some genius factor is going to kick
Well,
in.
but
It's
you have
not.
two more on organization. Like, do you want to build something from the ground up then?
No, I'd say right now you leave those two moron organizations apart You do the cutting and the improving individually, not together. Nothing ever comes together and becomes better, Aaliyah. Nothing of that ever happened.
Well, we were just going to tear things down and then build it back
You
together.
don't tear down Social Security.
Well, y'all did that.
There's fixings.
I don't have.
No, I didn't do that either. Ronald Reagan stole all the money out of there. I had nothing to do with that. But I'm too close now, and there's too many people I know that depend on that.
I know. I have family members.
Well, I don't know. I asked somebody who I know who's been collecting Social Security for quite a while about dealing, saying one time having to go in, it was fine, had to wait a while, had to wait an hour or something for a basic form. The other time, it was a pain in the butt.
It is a pain in the butt. There's no doubt about it. But again, merging those two pain in the butt organizations together is not going to fix a darn thing.
Yeah, but what if you just completely overhaul it?
You're not going to have.
You're going to tear. I don't care if you tear down the Postal Service. I'm smart enough. Most of my crap comes via email anyway. However,
but no, it's not taking away your Social Security benefits. It's changing how it's administrated.
But you're taking away my ability to communicate with the Social Security Administration. You're putting a computer between me and what I see as my benefit. When there are times, and you guys are just young, but there are times when you need a human's emotion in there. There are times when I need to speak to a manager, and that manager can go get things done. And there are times when I'm stuck in AI, just like you are when you call up somebody and you're trying to get through the stupid menu. There has to be a human factor.
What if we got your Social Security administrator to come to your house?
I'm not crazy about that. Most people, again, you guys are younger. Most people, as you get older, I don't want you in my house. I don't need you in my house. I don't want that. I want my privacy. That's why I want you to have your place and I have mine.
So what about the census ID he has?
That I don't care about because they're spying on you anyway. Post office is spying on you anyway. That's why it takes so long to get your mail.
Post office.
I'm
at the point where I don't want Social Security. I want you to stop taking it from me, but I know that it's not the nature of it.
When I was your age, I was the same way.
Yeah.
But now I've got, 50 something years invested. I'm like, hey, I'll settle for pennies on the dollar right now. And I'll never ask you for nothing again.
Yeah, they just aren't in the mood to do anything like that. I just think streamlining administration of basic benefits and services is a good idea.
I'm good with streamlining, but you guys were talking about merging.
Well, no, but that's what he means. It's like we already have these organizations that we can
rehire. If you took Crystal's and Church's chicken and you combined them, would you get a better product, guys?
Yeah, but aren't they already combined?
They're both.
But all your government documents are being sent through the post office.
If you had better cooks in the back of the restaurants, you would.
And that's the thing with Social Security.
But you just said you didn't want to have to deal with the computer or the phone.
Email, I don't mind. I would rather have email than have a postal service any day of the week.
Fascinating.
That's just a matter of ease.
Well, actually, I'm kind of enjoying this argument. What I like
is
that you have.
I've had to go down there and convince these people. Like our house burned up, so we lost everything. So I had to convince them that Justin was a citizen. They said, well, we need a piece of paper, at least from the school, that says he's a... So I went there, got it to print it, brought it back, and they said, well, this is nice and all, but you could have printed this at home. I said, yeah, I could have, but you morons told me to go there, and that's what I did. I had to skip over a person or two before I got a person that could say, hey, this guy is legit. Let's quit giving him a hard time.
But I imagine what Lutnick's getting at is you get rid of a lot of that stuff.
But have you ever had your ATM card denied when you know you got money in there?
No.
That'll happen to you one day. What do? You're screwed.
He just wants somebody to cut red tape. That's all he wants. And I respect that. I understand.
Oh, I know there's a ton of red tape to be cut. But I also know too many people depend on certain, like Social Security. And I know the government screws up as it is. I don't want them to cut that and then say, well, fix it. Because they screw up enough as it is.
Something tells me that you lose your cool if you get a operator that doesn't have a good American dialect.
No, actually, we talk pretty good. Alexa, I lose my cool with that old bat quite often.
Yeah, well, she's...
Yes, exactly. And you can tell your Alexa to learn stuff and they're supposed to learn it. Mine don't. She's retarded.
They don't learn nothing.
They don't learn nothing.
Listen. Right. Anyway, we'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students.
Joe Montana here. In my football days, I knew the importance of a strong defense. Now I'm sharing how you can help defend your health against pneumococcal pneumonia and invasive pneumococcal disease. Are you 50 or older like me? The CDC now recommends vaccination against pneumococcal disease. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at increased risk and over 6 times greater risk of hospitalization with pneumococcal pneumonia than adults under 50. Schedule your appointment today at vaxassist.com.
Sponsored by Pfizer.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
For reliable electrical services in Central Alabama, trust the experts at Crosby Electric. Crosby's licensed and insured electricians are ready to tackle any project for your home, from troubleshooting, repairs, to installing new lighting and preventive maintenance. And Crosby understands the need for quality service for small business. Crosby is big enough for the largest job, yet small enough to bring real value. Visit CrosbyElectric.com to schedule your service. Crosby, powering Central Alabama with excellence.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by the Harriet II.
The Harriet II Riverboat has the perfect way to start your weekend each Friday with the Spring Dinner Cruise. Enjoy live entertainment, dine on a delicious family-friendly dinner with your favorite beverage from the Cash Bar. Boarding starts at 6:30 and the cruise at 7. Book your cruise today at funinmontgomery.com.
Rich Thomas Weather. We have been batting 1,000 on this week's weather. Today, a weak frontal system will move into the state, and there could be some isolated, widely scattered showers somewhere, but most towns will stay dry. Another comfortable day, high 73, mostly clear overnight tonight, low 42. Sunshine will be in abundance Friday, Saturday, Sunday. High temperature near 70 on Friday, 73 on Saturday, and 67 on Sunday. We've got some stormy weather coming in around the middle of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the river region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. By the way, the whole post office repurposing thing, that argument continued off air, but we're all good, folks. We really are. I think we just got down to the fact of people stink. And I think, well, I don't disagree there. This part of the program brought to you by Josh and Leslie Ryder there at Dillon Rings. And, of course, Dillon Rings is a full-service jewelry shop ready to help you with an incredible selection that Leslie herself picks out. The woman has incredible taste, from high-end jewelry items to that everyday jewelry that's not going to break the bank, but still looks great. Of course, they can also do custom design work. That's what Josh specializes in, as well as repair work, spa treatments. They can also do appraisals. They do it all. There's a reason I say full-service jewelry shop. Of course, Dillon Rings is closed this week. They will be back open next week. There was Josh's mother passed, and so y'all lift up Josh Ryder in prayer as they as they go through that, and they will be back open. But I just wanted to let you know they aren't open this week. So if you're interested in shopping there, that great full-service jewelry shop, Dillon Rings, stop by next week, and we'll, of course, tell you a little more about them later in the program. Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
That's right.
Oh, no. We go from, like, this good time argument that essentially came down to, like, these people just suck. And I'm like, does it matter what administration they're with?
No. But, Joe, but when you're as close as I am to putting your hand on that piece of pie you've waited your whole life.
Right.
We're going to bring the pie to you. We're going to bring the pie to you.
It'll have a bite gone out of it. I know it.
A bite.
Wait, how do you get the Social Security check now? Is it not in the mail? It's direct deposit, right?
It should be direct deposit.
Yeah.
Should be.
So most of the time when you're having to touch an actual agent, it's for things like clarifying dates and identities and yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
Right?
So it's supposed to be here, say, on the 1st.
Mm-hmm.
On the 2nd, it's not here. What do? I contact
Place
your
a
little
bone
computer
test
machine and go,
and
hey, my check's not here. And the computer machine's going to say, oh, okay. And day 3, same thing. I got to be able to talk to somebody at some point. That computer is not going to get me my satisfaction.
Let's go to Duke. Hey, Duke. Welcome.
Now, Joe, you trying to be messy today, it seems like, boy. What's going on with this talk about this Social Security stuff,
You're going to get cut.
Joey's trying to take our Social Security away.
You crybabies. Seriously.
Man, these young folks are trying to take it, dude.
Goodness gracious.
Now, cause y'all little young ass have paid y'all dues and yet
Right.
paid our dues.
Right, Joey.
Wait, can y'all not, Eddie, Duke, can y'all not hear me over your drooling at this point? Come on,
How
man.
we drooling?
I don't care what y'all
The
nibbling
pie
around
is
this-
almost
y'all like
ready,
a damn
Joey.
shark. Y'all like a shark. Keep on nibbling around the damn edge of this thing now.
Goodness gracious.
I make me nervous, boy. Y'all
Thank
leave
you.
it alone now.
I agree.
No, it's like
Yeah.
we found billions of dollars in fraudulent payments going out. Folks like, don't you dare touch my
No,
Social
you don't-
Security. It's like you're literally being stolen from.
They're
Find
not.
another way to
They're
deal
not
with that.
fraudulent
Find another
payments
way
to
deal with
me.
that. Just find
Heaven
another way to
forbid
deal
we
with
find
that.
enough
Yes.
to like make it solve it
good,
somehow.
boy.
I'm all about making it solvent. But if y'all gonna mess with it, let's wait till I'm done. Let me get my piece of cake.
I done work my fingers for these white folks all these years, to the damn finger to the bone
too,
all
dude.
these years, and I paid my dues and Social Security, and I want what's mine.
But
Don't start
So-
singing.
and they leave that
Don't
alone.
start
They leave that alone.
singing.
Eddie's going to join him.
100%.
Yeah, goodness.
I'm telling you,
What'd you say, Joey?
Don't start singing.
I was.
Sounded like you were about to
I
start
had
singing.
y'all's attitude. I swear to God, probably 10 years ago, I had y'all's attitude. But somewhere along the line, that changed, and I started looking at that Social Security, going, well, I might make it.
Man, inflation's going to be so high, it's not going to matter.
If it buys me lunch, so what? It buys me lunch. That's one lunch I get.
Duke, what, you're saying something about these cats in the White House?
These cats in the White House, they putting their hands on everything. They need to leave their hands off of this right here now. And some other stuff. But, you know, they going too far with some stuff. Now, leave Social Security alone, please, y'all. Because a lot of folks going to get ignorant out here if y'all go fool with that stuff right there now.
So paying people that don't exist and paying foreign fraud rings. Oh, we just got plenty of money. Let's just throw it away because we can't change anything in our society ever. We must fall off a cliff together, sugar.
I know what they're doing a lot of stuff, but they need to leave this right here alone now.
Goodness.
Now, I will say this about Social Security. I've got a good friend of mine that does not live here in the United States. He came here as a visitor, did some working. Somehow or another, he's eligible for Social Security.
What? I'm shocked.
And he tried to explain it to me. I mean,
Right.
Well,
you give him a tax ID number.
But he was here 2 years. He worked 2 summers.
He's got that tax ID number.
He put his time in. He's got his.
Well, luckily, he's a holy enough person. He won't do it. But he flat out told me he's eligible. And I argued with him, and then I looked it up. He's eligible for 2 summers.
You know, I see if I didn't work, you know, on welfare all my life. It didn't work. It didn't pay into the system. You can't say nothing. But yeah, me and Eddie paid into the system. So
Good Lord, I paid.
we was promised this stuff. So hell, I don't come talking about you found this and that. Hey, find it after a while. Like that. You know. You know.
Man.
Joey, they should have just did it and, told everybody the results afterwards.
Yeah, like.
Well, you see results from us. You see results. I ain't gonna win to get out here. You know, I ain't gonna tell you how I ain't gonna win to get out here, boy. Shoot, man.
I hate to agree with Byron, but you're probably right. They probably should have just said, you know what? Hey, guys, we fixed this. And here's the new system.
Without money no show up there, we know something going wrong.
What is this email thing? You write me a letter and you put a postage stamp on it. You put it in the box and you wait a few days. That's how you communicate.
They didn't want me cotton jelly beans to get my stuff back. I ain't doing none of those cotton jelly beans, none of that to get my stuff back.
Cotton jelly beans.
Cotton jelly beans.
Oh.
Cotton jelly beans. They're like telling these folks the name 4 or 5 things they did last week. Hell, a lot of them can't remember that damn far back to last week.
No, that was very much just a
wholesome. Trying to play with people money though and livelihood, and they got bills to pay. Power company don't care nothing about the hell what you did last week. They want to know do you have that money to pay this bill this month?
This is very true. So you better write to Elon what you did last week, or you might not have that money to pay that bill next month.
You go to cutting folks money off here. People can get crazy after a while now.
Now, what if we give the money still, but you're not allowed to buy snack food? Like no more junk food.
Right.
I don't care about it.
So that's literally a bill Senator Brett proposed.
I can do without that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right.
Well, see, I'm more against that.
But I'm still not gonna be controlled like that anyway. I'm still gonna get my snacks.
Right.
I'm not going to be controlled.
I mean, the government to buy my fudge round.
I'm looking for my check, but I don't want to be controlled.
No, not my check. My dividend that I've paid in all this time that you'll pay me 0 interest on. Just give me a little bit of that back at a time.
But like he's literally taking taxes off Social Security, and somehow there are folks like oh my God. Like, stop listening to ABC and NBC and CBS. Their whole job is to scare old people.
What about my AARP? They didn't have to say anything about it. All they had to do was mention the sacred cow of Social Security.
They don't even have to say a word. They just hiss like a cat, and everybody, my money.
Oh, listen, Mr. Joe.
What if we said something about Bitcoin? What if he said, hey, Bitcoin's out today? Would you not scream, my money?
Yeah, but it sucks. But it's like, whatever.
Well, we're used to getting screwed, so.
You boys are young. It only gets better.
So Joe, are you gonna give yours away? What's up, man? What you want to with yours?
No, I want them to stop taking it from
Would you take a deal if they said, Joey, we won't take another dime from you, but we're not giving you any of this back?
Yes.
I would have taken that deal.
I'd cash out today.
Up until probably my early 40s, I would have taken that deal. Yep.
Yeah, give you $1 million, something like that,
And that's the thing, we ain't going to get but like $12 a month anyway, but still.
Yeah. But, but anyhow,
anyway, you doing all right, dude?
Yeah, I'm all right now. Y'all just have to get that out of the way, but they need to leave that. They need to leave that alone completely. I understand that they're gonna hurt a lot of people with the Medicare. They talking about messing around that a little bit too, and some of that need to be touched up a little bit. Get these
I'll agree with that.
Welfare and get their ass to work. But
I agree with that.
But for us soldiers that broke our back out here paying that in. Leave it alone. Don't be even don't be circling around like no shark. Just leave that alone, please.
Thank you.
All right. Well, y'all can continue to be Rob blind. I appreciate it.
Well, we'll
have Big Pharma just continue to rip everybody off through the Medicare program, and we'll just continue to have foreign fraud rings and non-existent fraudsters, fictional people that other people are taking the money. Yeah, just hundreds of billions out the door. That's a great idea. For everybody, that's really keeping the Social Security beneficiaries protected.
I ain't talking about the rest.
That's really keeping beneficiaries secure by allowing all this money to go out the door. It's absurd.
As long as it's not mine. Let me watch mine.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228.
Did you see what Pam Bondi put out this morning? They will release Epstein tomorrow at noon.
Not the full list, though.
Really?
I saw something that said a partial list.
Oh, I thought we've already done the partial
I'm a little upset.
Me too.
I hope I'm wrong, but...
I wish they would give, and I saw this, I'm stealing this, I wish they would give the list to Ricky Gervais and let him read it at the Oscars tonight.
He's not going to be at the Oscars.
I know, it'd be the whole thing.
Oh, yeah, but Conan could probably do it.
No, I want Ricky.
I think Conan's on it, so...
Yeah. No, Conan's not on it.
Ricky would take delight in burning Hollywood down that way.
It would be good.
Yeah. Again, 272-9228. Not much time here left in this hour, but let's go to Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy!
How you doing, man?
Yeah, just because you don't have much time to put me on last. Hey, first of all, Social Security is one great... It wouldn't have to Bernie Madoff. Social Security is nothing more than a Ponzi
and
a pyramid.
Scheme. Yep.
That's all it is. Okay?
And the bet is on you not living long enough to collect it.
That's exactly right. And they're going to even be happier if you don't have a spouse, I ain't got to give it to her either.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Yeah, it's true.
We got to
Right, 'cause
protect
you
our
always have to
investment.
They get the highest of the two.
Mhm.
Here's I just retired 5 days ago. Man, did I learn something about Social Security. First of all, let's talk about Eddie, you are 100% right. And Eddie, you 100% right is like 0% ever happened. But today it was. You hit it right on the target, my brother. That's why I had to call in.
All right.
First thing is, a friend of mine works for the Postal Service. Guess what? After 30 years, now Social Security is interesting when I was in the Air Force.
Yep.
Because Social Security is nothing but a effing, freaking, fracking, damn, what do you call it? A union. It's a union. It's the only union in the United States. Do you know why FedEx and UPS have not destroyed the United States Postal Service? For one reason. Because in the Constitution it says they have control of all first-class mail. Well, guess what first-class mail today is? Nothing but junk. Like Eddie
100%.
said, everything comes via through email. Email destroyed the Postal Service.
Yep.
And the only reason why the Postal Service could be lazy and lackadaisy and fat asses because it's very simple. They had no competition. They had the market. Email tore them up when it came to mail. And now all they got left is first class crap, okay? My friend retired from that after 30 years in the Postal Service. He's making more money, almost twice as much more every paycheck a month than he did when he was working. What a scam.
You ain't kidding.
They are a freaking union and a half. They never keep up with equipment. They lose stuff. They steal stuff. They don't even do a good job of
So
what they do.
I agree with all this, but so the moral of the story is don't touch it?
Well, here's FedEx. No, I would get rid of the whole damn Postal Service.
Get rid of the whole thing.
Well,
Get rid of the whole thing.
What
you're
do
gonna
you
have to
get?
you're gonna have to change the Constitution.
Yeah, but what do you get more in your mail of? I mean, me personally, I get junk mail to the
Oh,
point
it's
where-
just credit cards.
It's just
All
mail.
of it is crap and
Right.
credit cards, yeah.
So
Okay, that's exactly what you got. Now, here's the funny thing about that is they are a union, okay?
Mhm.
So, you ever notice the forever stamp keeps going up? How can you keep going up on your wages, keep going up on packages, keep going up on all this crap, registered mail and everything, and yet your service that you provide gets worse and worse and outdated?
like fast
FedEx
food
and
restaurants.
UPS, and also, what do you call it, Amazon. That's technology right there, buddy. Watch the documentary on Amazon. The technology and how they handle processed packages. Postal Service could never do that.
No.
They could never handle it.
Well, they don't want to.
You would never. They couldn't do it.
They don't want to.
Period. So that's why you got a niche in there for FedEx and UPS. Let's talk about Social Security. I started my Social Security. I called. They said they recommended me. My friend said, "Don't go down there, Soldier Boy." He says, "What you got to do is very simply go and call this number and make an appointment." I said, "You got to be kidding." He goes, "Oh no, you got to make an appointment." So I called. Do you know how long it took before I got a human being on the damn phone?
How long?
35 minutes.
You didn't have all those computers there to help you?
Seems like a short.
I know
wait.
it. They gave me pretty music in the back and told me to wait until an available agent is available.
Mm-hmm.
I
It's
finally
not
get
as
one
bad as
lady
dealing with the
said-
internet providers.
Well, she makes an appointment. Guess when my appointment is?
Another month away?
You're exactly right. April 5th.
Right.
What I've heard.
I
Yep.
said, that's the earliest you got. She says, well, you'll get the back pay because I'm annotating it on there that you inquired about it today. So what you'll do is it won't start in April when you get your paycheck. You'll get it from today's date to that date also because that time lapse between the two. I said, oh, that's great.
Hope you got some money.
Well, I got a military retirement check. Thank
you
God.
good to go.
Now, I don't always think about myself, Eddie, okay? I feel sorry for the people out there that are living paycheck.
Yep.
They were promised and live paycheck to paycheck off Social Security. I mean, it's sad when you got, I could no way in hell, even with my house paid for, my car paid for,
Mhm.
my credit cards paid for, can I live off Social Security? No fracking way.
Nope.
That is nothing but, and here's my question. Here's what the government should do. Create an individual bank account for each MF, okay? Each individual out there.
Mhm.
And get a fair going interest on that money. And be able to take it out anytime you want to without any penalty if it's for buying the first time
That's,
home
by the way,
buyer,
how Social Security was sold, and then in the Supreme Court they argued
changed
actually
it.
it was just a general taxing power.
or for medical reasons,
Yeah.
or for first home time buyer.
No, I agree with you completely, man.
100%.
They would continue education. So, Joey, you would be putting money into an account that's actually interest bearing.
I agree. Oh, I 100% agree.
100% agree with you.
Eddie, you are right. They hope you. My dad told me I'm going to live forever. I go, why is that, Daddy? He said you should be able to also, when you retire, take it out of one lump sum.
Yep.
They want you to die.
They do. That's the whole
They
plan.
want you to die.
That's why they give you the
That's the
option.
whole
You can
plan.
take it early or you can take it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are starting to take it at 62. Why? Because they don't know how long they're going to frack it.
Exactly right.
Well, Soldier Boy, I got to hit my top hour break, but happy retirement.
Well,
I can
see next month. If they, Hey, Eddie,
Yeah,
we'll
bro.
see next month if they get that check right.
Yeah. All right, brother. We'll see you.
Good to hear from you, man.
See you, Soldier Boy.
Do have to hit this break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer extending a state visit invitation to President Trump on behalf of King Charles. Mr. Trump accepted the invitation, which came at the start of their meeting today at the White House. U.S. and Russian diplomats holding talks in Istanbul. They discuss ways to normalize the operation of their embassies following rounds of diplomatic expulsions in recent years. President Trump says he will impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting next Tuesday. Supreme Court has temporarily blocked a judge's order giving the Trump administration a midnight deadline to release billions of dollars in U.S. foreign aid. Investigation underway following the deaths of actor Gene Hackman, his wife, and their dog in their home in New Mexico. This is SRN News.
For many out on the streets with no address, when the hope dies, it's hard to be found.
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that simple. They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
Homelessness could happen to anyone.
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Their story is our story.
You never know in life why things work out the way they do. Never give up.
No Address, starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, and Ty Pennington. In theaters this Friday. Get your tickets at noaddressmovie.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MediShare. Maybe you've heard joining MediShare can save families up to $500 a month, and obviously that's a big deal, but they like it too, especially being part of something that reflects their values instead of working against them. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend, must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. We have been batting 1,000 on this week's weather. Today, a weak frontal system will move into the state, and there could be some isolated, widely scattered showers somewhere, but most towns will stay dry. Another comfortable day, high 73, mostly clear overnight tonight, low 42. Sunshine will be in abundance Friday, Saturday, Sunday. High temperature near 70 on Friday, 73 on Saturday, and 67 on Sunday. We've got some stormy weather coming in around the middle of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has a long history of stability and a legacy of serving our community's needs for generations since we began in 1906. At CB&S Bank, we're here for you. All loans subject to credit approval, member FDIC and equal housing lender.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, here's today's top stories. The Alabama Port Authority, in partnership with CSX, will break ground today on an inland port facility in Montgomery. The container transfer facility will provide seamless rail and truck connectivity between central Alabama and the Port of Mobile. The 272-acre facility will be located on Mobile Highway. Open enrollment for Alabama's new school choice educational savings account program is underway. Families may apply for the 2025-26 school year through April 7th, with award notifications scheduled to be sent out on May 1st. Alabama is the 14th state to provide families with an education savings account option. A Deatsville man has pleaded guilty to securities fraud for stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars from his mother. 44-year-old Chad Svenby tried to defraud his elderly mother of approximately $400,000 through the use of a power of attorney. The crime was only discovered when Svenby attempted to change his mother's will. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Are you happy with your IT support company? Do they resolve your company's computer issues quickly, or do they leave you down and frustrated? You need your computers working and problems resolved quickly and permanently. GTI is different. GTI has a high standard of affordably supporting and protecting businesses like yours since 1999. Call them now at 819-4650, 819-4650, or visit gtinow.com.
Hi folks, this is Rick Clark with Clark Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing. I'd like to take just a minute to talk to you about our experience with Blue Water Broadcasting. One of the hot topics in our staff meetings is spending advertising dollars. If your company or firm is anything like Clark Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing, those dollars are limited, so you have to spend them wisely. That's why we choose Blue Water Broadcasting. Our marketing analysis has proven consistently that spending advertising dollars with Blue Water Broadcasting has contributed significantly to our bottom line. And for that, Clark Heating, Air Conditioning, and Plumbing is truly grateful. So, if you want to spend your advertising dollars wisely, choose Blue Water Broadcasting and see the difference.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Is cocaine a stronger up? Yeah. So you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know
Always be closing. Always be closing.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. By the way, did y'all see they're doing like a new Broadway Glengarry Glen Ross with a bunch of like actors you would know, like Bill Burr?
Is Baldwin going to do it?
I don't know if Baldwin is, but Bill Burr was doing an interview, and the not Macaulay Culkin, the brother who was just on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's in it. I think Bob Odenkirk and like,
really,
yeah,
love Bob.
Yeah, so it's a great play. David Mamet wrote a fantastic play, so cool to see that coming back. And you know, I've got family members like, "What did you do this weekend?" "Oh, we did a little trip up to New York. We went to Broadway." I'm like, "Who are you people?
Kieran Culkin.
Kieran, yeah. The guy's a good actor. But yeah, that should be interesting. But just remember, folks, this is Eddie's motto.
Always be closing. Always be closing.
Do you think the fact that Lutnick kind of sounds like a character out of Glengarry Glen Ross is kind of a down, like it's not good?
No.
Well, because here he is explaining some more of the gold card thing.
And that's over $1 trillion that comes directly to $1.25 billion just for that line. And I think these people are going to
Because there are about 250,000 people in the waiting list for that.
I don't think it's
enormous
at all.
ways because they know they can come into America and they can be in the greatest country on earth.
You're kind of bullish when you talk about paying down the debt, and you said it again today in the cabinet meeting. You truly believe that with this program, with DOGE, you can make this money all materialize and counteract a really skyrocketing deficit?
So if you go back to my Twitter feed, which I'm sure no one does, but October 14th, when I recruited Elon and came up with the name DOGE, October 14th, we agreed to balance the budget, that he would take $1 trillion of expense out. Remember, we have just under $4 trillion of entitlements, but no one's ever gone through it. No one's ever looked at it. If I told you no one's ever looked at it, you've got to assume 25% is just mistakes, errors, and is wrong. That's $1 trillion a year. We do tariffs. We do the gold card, we drill, baby, drill, and we get rid of these tax scams that are all over the United States of America, and that'll produce $1 trillion in revenue, $1 trillion in cuts, and $1 trillion in revenue always balances this budget, and we're going to do it.
Dude projects confidence.
Just that easy. $1 trillion in cut, $1 trillion in revenue, solved.
Well, we'll see. I mean, Doge keeps on trucking, but hey, we got some calls rolling in here. Let's go to Biloxi Gambler. You're on there?
Hey, so, well, I got a question for you, but I will say it took me 6 months to get my federal retirement. Office personnel management.
I mean, man, you better have some savings.
Well,
when you go to retire.
It's the Iron Mountain thing.
Yeah.
It's the mine shaft.
That's crazy.
Wow. Yeah, because my last day working was in May, and I didn't get a check till mid-December. Not the last day of December.
Wow. Good Lord.
Yeah, and okay, Bitcoin.
Okay.
Let me ask you a question before I get to the other thing, and that'll take you right back to your topic of the post office beating up them, and so don't beat them up. They're hiring.
Hey, callers did. I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
They are hiring. Well, Eddie's got plenty of time. He's just selling house, might as well drive around.
Maybe they've already been on an interview.
Anyway, go ahead.
Listings, it'd be great.
I know.
They're hiring, man. Look, they have to hire 3 people to get one that might stay 2 months.
Right.
I mean, they're hiring as fast as they can because we wash them out. I mean, they wash them out. I don't work. Anyway, on the Bitcoin. So I'm going to Biloxi, and you've talked me into it. And plus, it hit the record 109,000 within the last month, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, 109,000, and then it was 105,000. I said, you know what? I should have bought it, a long time ago. But Joey loves it, so I think I'm gonna. When I get back in town, I'm gonna turn the computer on, and I'm gonna go ahead and get some. Now, do you buy the whole coin, or are you exchange traded fund ETF?
No, I buy parts of the coin. I wish I had the cash to buy a whole coin at what it's.
Well, how do you buy a part of a coin without doing an ETF?
You just, I would recommend the easiest route is sign up on Binance, or I use Coinbase.
That's
and you can
Coinbase. Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Yeah,
and you connect your bank account, and you can buy $100 if you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's divisible up to 8 decimal points.
Yep.
Well, I was going to buy. I thought I had to buy a whole coin, and when it went to 105, I said I got 105. I can push over there to that. I get back in town. It's down to 82,000.
Now's a good time.
My question is, well, I don't know. When you look at the rest of the chart, it's still pretty fat over where it's been over 1 year, 5 year, and all that. Anyway, what made it go to 82,000? I know there was a $1.2 billion cryptocurrency theft by the North Koreans, but that's not Bitcoin USD or US, whatever that thing's called. It's something overseas somewhere. Did that make people skittish? Because I mean, it really shouldn't have anything.
No,
to do
actually,
with...
I don't think this is. I think it's just the sugar highs come down a little bit after everybody being excited. It first ran up after the election, and it ran up after the election because Trump was very clearly pro Bitcoin. But you look like the guy we were just playing, Howard Lutnick, is big into Bitcoin. So is the firm he started, and if he's helping manage the sovereign wealth fund, they're standing up. Bitcoin is probably going to be part of that portfolio. I think what made it go down is, number one, it is coming off that all-time high. And then number two, you got to remember that in short-term periods, this is incredibly volatile. You can trade this 24/7. And now as the bigger players are getting into it, I think they're making a lot of money off the volatility and are happy to see it float all around because it gives them, these day traders, a lot of
make quick money.
A lot out there. I would look at it as not the short term because it can be quite volatile. I would look at it in 5-year, 10-year windows. And when you look at the returns over that, it's the best performing thing.
Well, you answered my question about Coinbase. I will look research Coinbase then and go into them. On your Social Security, don't forget now, it's 12.4%. This is where servers cheat themselves by not reporting their tips. You know, you report enough tips to make minimum wage, so you don't have to pay taxes. But if you reported all of them, your employer would have to match you up to a total of 12.4%. So you're losing your employer free money match. It's not free to the employer, but it's free to you. And it's that 12.4. It's the magic of compound interest that really Social Security doesn't give you the advantage of. But I started paying Social Security when I was 12. And, you know, I retired at 62 only because, and they are going to move the age back on Social Security. The plan is to move it back 3 months per year for, I think, till 2039. It hasn't passed. None of this has passed. It's just a proposal. I'm just saying this for Eddie, you know, talking about it. But anyway, I knew they were going to mess around with it, and I said, well, what's the earliest I can draw it? And it was 62, and I said, well, yeah, I'll take less just to go ahead and get in line. So I did that, and I had no problems with Social Security. Well, I did. I was on the phone for over 2 hours, did all that, you know. Anyway, whatever. And I was disgusted, and a friend of mine knows a friend, a bureaucrat, and they gave me a secret phone number. I called it, got my Social Security number, my name, my date of birth. He goes, okay, I got you. And you know, and he sounded like a lineman, you know, in the NFL. Okay, I got you. And I said, and that's it? He goes, yeah. And I said, so, and he goes, you get your check on the 16th of the month. You're not getting it. You're getting it in January. You're not getting the check next month. And I said, yes, sir. He said, you got to be 62 for 30 days. And my birthday, you know, is, you know, like November. And he goes, you're not getting a check this month. It'll be January. I said, well, yes, sir. Well, thank you. And, so it was very quick and easy for me once I had the magic
Once you had the right person. Yeah.
That's right. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Enjoying it.
See you,
Appreciate
man.
it. 272-9228. Let's go to Cranky. Hey, Cranky.
What's up, Cranky?
Oh, same old. I'm still intrigued. You know, 5 years ago, I was just amazed at the idiots that swallowed up every lie that we were told about COVID. And now, you know, you turn on the television, and I turn on the radio here, the idiots that think that there's something wrong with pointing out that the government is being robbed and is going to deplete what we count on every month as a retirement. And I don't understand that, and I'm not going to try to understand it because it makes my head hurt. But
I'm with you.
I heard Soldier Boy a while ago. I didn't hear the exact situation, but if he is trying to get on Social Security, you don't have to go in to see him. You can do that online. You can if you're eligible and you want to flip the switch and turn it on, you can go online and do it. It took me 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes. and I got an email, and later on it hit direct deposit. The hardest thing was finding the information on my bank account, because, brother, that thing hit the system when they said it was going to hit the system. And you don't have to go in. You don't have to wait till April. But if he's got a question, somebody's got to talk to him in person. Yeah, I guess he's got to do that. But
well, we got a brand new building right here down the street. I don't want it to go vacant yet.
Well, yep. Hey, that building, they fire everybody over there, all the homeless people that are burning up everything on both sides of I-85. That'd be a great place for them to house them.
That's exactly why I don't want it to go vacant. Yeah.
Go. But it's been a light news day. I hate to hear that about Gene Hackman. I've kind of cracked. Any idea? Are they kicking anything around?
The daughter, the New York Post put it out there. The daughter is suspecting carbon monoxide poisoning.
I've read earlier that they had some sort of weird mummification already, like in their extremities, their hands and feet. So that I was kind of doing some research to try to see if there was.
Because it was him, his wife, and the dog.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's. I'll tell you what, you never know. Jim Jones, Guyana, I don't know if he came back or whatever, but I hate to hear that. I really like Gene Hackman, a lot of great movies, and I think he was a pretty guy. But that's exactly what I was thinking. If it ain't carbon monoxide, then it's a murder. You got to something has got to result in that. That's just so sad.
Well, that's the latest I saw. It really is sad. And one thing though, it's great is especially if you hop on X, most of what's trending is just movies he was in.
Yeah.
And it's people remembering all these great moments, sharing clips. Yeah. It's like Crimson Tide. You sent me one, Byron. Then of course the Young Frankenstein scene.
Unforgiven.
Oh yeah.
Royal Tenenbaums.
And the French Connection.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh,
French Connection's a wonderful movie.
What's that? The Conversation.
If you want to see a great movie, and it's an old movie, it was the prequel to Enemy of the State. Enemy of the State was the sequel.
Right.
A lot of people know that. But the prequel was called The Conversation, Francis Ford Coppola. And that is a fantastic movie. That movie changed my life.
Okay.
And very, very amazing movie. He's just a great character actor, and I'm going to miss him. I'm sad, and I'm going to miss him. Y'all have a great day, and thanks for picking me up.
Thanks.
Appreciate you, Cranky.
I love that movie and just never knew that it was a prequel
to Enemy of the State.
And I love both those movies.
Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Cole Plumbing. And their James Cole and the team are ready to help you out with any and all of your plumbing problems. It could be everyday plumbing issues like clogged drain, low water pressure. It could be you got tree root invasion. Ooh. How does that sort of thing show up? It could be like certain things are spilling over or coming up other drains.
All of a sudden, or lack of pressure. All of a sudden, you don't have pressure. Yeah.
Right. Of course, they can also help with things that you might not think of immediately with plumbing, like a gas line leak.
Yep.
So if you're smelling something or you're just wondering why is the gas bill so high,
could have a leak, Joey.
Right. And of course, they can also help you with big plumbing leaks like burst pipe inside or outside your home. And with this proprietary pipelining technology unique to Cole Plumbing, they can solve that issue without having to tear out a bunch of drywall, dig up a huge hole in your yard to find the leak. No, they can do it with precision expertise, solve the problem quickly. Maybe you don't really have a problem other than you want to upgrade to, say, a tankless water heater system, or maybe you want to add accessories like a new garbage disposal in the kitchen, or I was about to say a garbage disposal in the bathroom. That would be an odd setup.
Kramer doing dishes and stuff in the shower. You don't want that.
But you could, want a taller toilet. As you get older in life, I know these things, not personally, but I know people.
Well,
the knees give out, the hips give out.
A lot of people are going paperless. Maybe you want that bidet put in.
Oh.
It's becoming very modern, very hip.
Yeah, and it's very clean.
Yes.
It's a nice way to do things. So y'all check them out today. That number for Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. That's 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl,
call on Cole, Joey.
So yesterday there was the big old cabinet meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And Elon was asked to speak first. President Trump spoke first, and then Trump asked Elon, can you speak about DOGE?
Yeah.
And here's a little what Elon had to say.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually just call myself a humble tech support here because this is actually, as crazy as it sounds, that is almost a literal description of the work that the DOGE team is doing, is helping fix the government computer systems. Many of these systems are extremely old. They don't communicate. There are a lot of mistakes in the systems. The software doesn't work. So we are actually tech support. It's ironic, but it's true. The overall goal here with the DOGE team is to help address the enormous deficit. We simply cannot sustain as a country $2 trillion deficits. The interest rates, just the interest on the national debt now exceeds the Defense Department spending. We spend a lot on the Defense Department, but we're spending over $1 trillion on interest. If this continues, the country will become de facto bankrupt. It's not an optional thing, it is an essential thing. That's the reason I'm here. And taking a lot of flack, and getting a lot of death threats, by the way. I'm gonna stack them up, you know. But if we don't do this, America will go bankrupt. That's why it has to be done.
Well, and it does seem like, as much as, because I think so many people, like 72% of Americans, this latest poll, love DOGE, and Elon is such a unique, idiosyncratic sort of figure, the old dying corporate media, the old regime prestige press, they're really focusing all their energy on DOGE and on Elon. To where today they had splayed out on the New York Times like faces and names of all the people working in DOGE.
Yeah,
it's actually a fairly diverse group. It's a lot of men, a lot of women.
Yep,
different backgrounds. So it's
very diverse.
Right.
Not what they want to see.
But you can see how they very much want to plaster every face on there.
Yeah.
Like, heck, I was trolling a little bit, but I was more just praising Elon, and I even had a guy essentially throw out an assassination attempt or a threat. Like, so you remember what happened to Mussolini, right? And I'm like, my God, like what is this unhinged world where this guy, who's, I think, doing great things, he's not perfect. He obviously has something dark going on in his head. When he describes his mind like a storm, I don't think he's saying, oh, it's so wonderful in here. And I think his father was pretty rough on him growing up. So I'm not saying this guy, actually people that kind of do big, over the top, larger than life things often have this sort of reason for it that's not very pleasant. So obviously the guy's not perfect. He's just fascinating, and he is thinking big. And I guess I've always been attracted to people like that, even when I disagree with them. When it's somebody who's like doing that, like working that hard, shooting their shot that high, I tend to admire it, because I think that's actually what pulls people forward. And to see, I hate having my suspicions confirmed, to see folks like literally get to the point of this guy is pure evil, I find bizarre. But that's where we're at. And I don't think it's the right choice. I don't think focusing all their time and energy on Elon himself is actually going to work. And what do you need time to? Where this guy is addressing the whole cabinet, and like you have all these reporters around, and he has a microphone that goes direct to hundreds of millions of people. It is strange, and that's, I think, what makes him nervous the most, is the amount of power he has accrued.
I think he learned that on Rogan. Remember what happened to his stock when he got on Rogan years ago?
Right.
I mean, as far as what his actual mission is, I agree with him 100%, and I think most conservatives do. The current trends where we are, spending deficit, like,
you can't do that.
We can't, and he's going to be unpopular to a lot of people, but he is doing yeoman's work. I mean, whenever we had the COVID or the TARP bailout, that was one thing. Then they escalated it under COVID, and now this guy is trying to clean up the mess, and thank God that he's there. I don't care whether it's the nationality is, how many kids he's got, how many baby mamas, so long as he's actually taking a knife to this budget, I'm all for it.
I'd been using X so much, I thought, I'm going to have to announce I'm pregnant with Elon's next baby. It turns out I just ate too much pasta. But this is going to drive people crazy, because one of the attacks is conflict of interest. And again, he's not just some rich guy.
Where's the conflict?
Well, you have contracts. You're getting billions of dollars. Your company's getting billions of dollars from the government. And the government's like people, especially Democrats, don't forget, who did this big change to create the commercial space race that Elon is now winning? That would be President Barack Obama.
Right. Yeah, but let's get using the whole post office is outdated sort of thing. I mean, let's scrap NASA and just let him take control of the space program, and we can save a bunch of money there.
Well, and this is actually, like, NASA's still playing a very important role, I think, because NASA gets to do the long-term planning and research for really big projects, which they are still quite good at. But Elon is, by having SpaceX, able to cut the cost of rocketry, able to create these reusable ones, and it is already, I think, showing massive returns. I think these things have already paid for themselves.
When they talk about risks,
to
what's
me,
he done?
NASA is the PBS of all things in space. You know,
Right now, definitely.
I mean,
They've taken an absolute
they're doing
backseat.
an admirable job. I love Hubble. I love all the cool, pits that come back. But you can't tell me that the private industry or private sector is not operating leaps and bounds above what NASA's doing.
From my looking at it, what they're doing is they're not working together. Essentially, they're taking what NASA is very good at, and then you're supplementing it with sort of the cost savings and technology that not only SpaceX is now doing, but Jeff Bezos and Blue Origin having breakthroughs as well. And even Elon is praising that. I think that's a good thing when you have more players coming up with unique ways of doing this less costly and doing it quicker. One of the things that I think has already made it a pay for is this system, these constellation of satellites called Starlink.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, that came up during the whole Ukraine war, right? After all the cyber attacks, the Ukrainians still were able to have the communications. Why? Because of Starlink. You better believe that in that huge constellation, how much of that is solely dedicated to the Pentagon. And it creates capabilities that nobody else on Earth currently possesses. And I would much rather, as wretched as the United States government can be, as much as I don't trust them, I would much rather it be the United States government than China or Russia or anybody else that ends up dominating orbit first. And so Starlink is useful for a lot of reasons. We saw them use it and deploy it during the saving folks in North Carolina. Well, the FAA, again, the folks screaming about conflict of interest are going to scream some more about this, but the FAA is considering transferring a $2.4 billion contract from Verizon to Starlink.
Mm-hmm.
This contract involves overhauling the comm system integral to the nation's air traffic control. Discussions around this potential shift have raised questions about conflict of interest, especially since SpaceX employees have been noted to have roles within the FAA. The move has yet to be finalized. Elon clarified this when this news came out, and he posted about 4 hours ago. To be clear, the Verizon communication system to air traffic control is breaking down very rapidly. The FAA assessment is single-digit months to catastrophic failure, putting air traveler safety at serious risk. The Starlink terminals are being sent at no cost to the taxpayer on an emergency basis to restore air traffic control connectivity. The situation is extremely dire. And so, if the guy's making things, if his companies, not just him, obviously, what's the best part about this guy is he inspires very smart people to work their tail off, long hours to do things nobody thought could be done. These teams of people, if they're creating things that are incredibly useful, that make life better, whether you're running the FAA and air traffic control, or you're the Pentagon and you want better ISR capabilities, or you are NASA and you are minded of like longer space travel and actually exploring the universe, this guy's pretty awesome. And you combine that with all the other things that are coming out. Now, where I see the break coming, I think you're right, Byron. Everybody sort of agrees that this basic mission of the interest on the debt is more than what we're spending on the Pentagon and the Department of Energy for the nukes. Like, this is ridiculous. This is unsustainable. We will be de facto bankrupt. Where you're going to see a lot of conservatives, and I think rightfully, start to question Elon is over things like Neuralink and over like mass, like humanoid robots that will replace workers en masse in factories everywhere, which it's getting more a reality by the day. And the question there will be not, do you just completely stop those things? It'll be more, what is the actual use of these things and where are the guardrails?
Well, I mean, thinking about that, if you're going to take a segment of people and just basically, they don't have to be productive in society, they don't have to have jobs, are they going to become a bunch of artists? Like, how are they going to support themselves?
Right.
You know, like that is a very scary model that we're going to have to deal with here probably in the next 20 years.
There are two kind of general theories competing. One is sort of the basic guaranteed income thing, like just give people a check or essentially put them on the hedonistic treadmill and just like, here, like, we'll just give you stuff and you can live a comfortable existence. Another competing theory is to create artificial scarcity and almost like bring back jobs that aren't economically productive, but it gives somebody a wage and a purpose, and it could essentially, if you want your town to look a particular way and have a certain culture and lifestyle, we can subsidize these jobs that are not productive. It's not making money, but it does create a certain quality of life that you want in your given city. Like, it really could be, this is a little of the top, but it's like, we're literally going to pay people to be blacksmiths or to be lamplighters or to be
what
like.
if I'm not? What if I just take your money and don't produce nothing?
Right. Well, then this is the question.
That's what's going to happen.
Well, maybe we'll just hook
100%
Eddie
what's
up
gonna
in a
happen.
pod where it's a nice, comfy chair. We'll deliver you burritos through the wall, and you can put on this virtual reality stuff, and you can be some like magical prince slaying dragons. Would that satisfy you?
Somebody like me would get bored and bust out.
Hey, if we start getting the checks for all our data from these telecom companies, maybe we won't have to deal with this too much.
I think again, you guys got too much faith in man. You're going to give me a check and I don't have to do nothing? Guess what? I'm going to get fat. I'm going to impregnate everyone I can and probably just live a very crappy life. You'd be surprised, man. Anyway.
So would you be more for, well, it's either you're giving people a basic check.
I'm not for that at all.
Or you're giving people jobs.
I know where you guys, and again, different generations, you guys think the world's going there. I don't think the world will sustain itself there.
What do you think is going to happen?
I think either something god awful, or we're going to continue kind of like the road we're going down. If you ever give, I mean, even now in Montgomery, we're talking about giving single mothers money, $500 a month.
Yeah.
What's that going to encourage? What good is going to come from that? So now we're going to take a whole society and say, hey, you ain't got to work. Well, guess what? I'm going to sleep
But what
late.
if there literally aren't jobs? It's like the big company, you've worked for big companies, they go, it is much more cost efficient for us to have robots do these jobs. It's safer.
What do you think's going to happen to inflation? There's no value in money anymore. So everything's going to be through the roof. So like it or not, I'll be farming just so I can eat.
We're going to have a bunch of criminals.
We already got that. I don't see it. I just absolutely can't see it.
Well, and things like the Neuralink stuff. I think there are many like applications of that are amazing. You're already seeing it with some of the paraplegics. I think 3 have had the chip installed. They're even coming up with like exoskeletons that can be powered by that chip in the mind. The already functioning, how these people that couldn't move at all were completely dependent on others, can now operate computers and get a lot of stuff done themselves. It's pretty remarkable technology. It really is. But there is a question of how far do you take that sort of thing.
That's a lot of people's questions. That's where you're going to get people calling in about the mark of the beast and all kinds of stuff.
I thought the vaccine was the mark of the beast.
No, man, when you start putting chips in people.
I thought they were putting nanobots in our Diet Coke.
Well,
that's what stevia is. Stevia, I mean. Not stevia, stevia.
It'll be the latest rendition.
Just saying, the world's being upended very quickly.
Well, what happens now? And we've got it now. You've got a section of society out there that doesn't have to work for their money. They've got income for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider them the better off end of society, the most productive side of society?
No.
Or do they usually just end up worse off than everybody else?
Well, but again, the alternative might be, if you want this money, come work this job. And it's not inhumane, but it is something that provides locally, and like you're actually earning your keep. You have purpose through that job.
But we have that through welfare
You said
now.
it, though. No, you said it, purpose. A man needs a purpose.
He does.
We need a reason to get up.
But if I find out my purpose is just being part of y'all's virtual world, then suddenly
No, but I
I'm
didn't
not
say
a man
I didn't
anymore.
say virtual world. I said literally go
it
back
would be,
before
but
the
it would-
virtual world.
It's essentially, though, it's a job for a virtual world, because I don't need to produce this. I'm only producing this because you guys don't want me to go produce something else.
Well,
What's
what
going to
else-
happen
what
to
else- what
imagination
else-
and innovation?
What else would you produce if robots are doing all these other sort of things? That's essentially the quandary here.
Well, my thing is I don't think robots are going to do everything.
Okay.
I just
No, but like it could very well open up a world where Eddie is teaching people to snorkel.
Robots don't snorkel.
No, but people, not the robots. The robots run the hut.
Again, you guys are giving to me. You're just giving too much credit to people. I'm going to sit around and get fat. I'm going to sit around and
Wait,
if you
so
gave
you
me
are-
an income, and Eddie, you don't have to do. It's like retirement.
I'd like okay.
I'm going to sit around and get fat. I'm going to do some fishing.
You're making me look like I'm an optimist when it comes to human nature. I am not.
You could go write that great American novel, Eddie.
My great American novel is 2 words. You suck. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it.
Guided boat tours. I don't know.
Even then, like on vacation, I see people fighting on vacation. You're supposed to be on vacation.
You ever read Siddhartha?
No.
Where he goes through all the different stages of life, and
No,
then
I feel like I'm
he
living it,
finds actual nirvana just being a ferryman.
I've met people like that.
Right.
That have a very simple existence. However, not everyone is like that. I had that opportunity.
Well, then you can go
I
and
could have just been the bloop bloop.
We
maker,
got a
but I
rocket
couldn't
to
stand it.
Mars for you. You can help colonize the red planet.
Somebody needs to go pick up those astronauts that we left hanging in space for a while.
I'm just you're coming across like
I don't believe in y'all's utopian future.
No, like you're King Lear.
I don't think it's going to be
No.
utopian by any stretch of the imagination.
If I'm going to sit around and you guys give me basic income, that's pretty utopian for me.
I think we got a boatload of problems that we have to be very real about.
And what do I do if Joey's got a better house than I do, and I want Joey's house? I want a house like that, but I'm on this universal basic income. My book's already been written. I'll never get any better, so I might as well just do worse.
Right. But I'm saying just giving the check, I think, is a bad idea.
It's
I agree.
a horrible
with that.
idea.
Right. So what's the alternative?
Keep your butt working. Have some
That's
purpose.
exactly what I was saying.
But not in some job that makes. I don't want to be a shoemaker when I got a closet full of
what
shoes.
do you want to do?
I don't know, but I would like to have purpose. Everyone wants to think.
Do
they
you
have
want to
purpose.
fish?
He wants to dance.
I've had those dreams. But again, I'm not good enough. And society said, Eddie, I know you love dancing.
It's like,
but you're not good enough for us to pay you to do that. Now go sit down and
It's
find
been a
something else to do.
while since I've threatened to slap you, but you're reminding me of the South Park episode where I'm going slap happy. I'm going so slap happy here.
You guys.
No son of mine's gonna join the football team.
Your
We got it.
utopian world's not going to work.
I'm not saying it's utopia. I'm saying we have to come up with
It'd be
practical
very
solutions.
utopia. You're going to pay me to do nothing. That's utopia.
I'm saying that.
And then what happens when somebody does want more and they find a trap for Eddie Bader, and Eddie Bader starts giving them.
We need to create a niche market. We'll be the people that damage the robots so that we can set up a repair system so that we can then.
Yeah, you could be an anarchist. Like we're black bloc and just blow stuff up, and then we're like, well, the robots are just rebuild it.
I mean, I can go back to being a robot programmer, but why? The only reason we had the robot because humans like me got tired of picking up 80 pounds every 2 seconds.
Would
So
you
we're
want to
hey,
open a restaurant?
I don't know. More people suck. You gotta have treat people.
What do you want to do? I'm asking. We don't
I want to get that horse, and I want to go in the mountains.
You get a horse and live in the mountains someplace.
That's what I want to do.
Don't bother anybody. We got to hit this break. This part of the program brought to you by Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. And Bo and the team there can help you whether you're looking to buy or sell here in the River Region real estate market. Or it could be you're looking to rent out that property. It's a great idea in this market for the time being. And why not for a reasonable fee have the Goodson Group manage that rental property for you? Because it honestly can be a pain in the butt to do that yourself. And then the crown jewel there is the Bo Goodson Real Estate School, one of the most highly acclaimed real estate programs here in the state of Alabama. Because it's a very interactive course. Bo is bringing 50 years of experience to bear here in this market. And he's saying it all, the good, the bad, and the uglies, teach it direct to you. And so many folks have graduated from the Bo Goodson Real Estate School and gone on to great success as more knowledgeable private players or as fully licensed real estate agents. Y'all check out the Goodson Group today. You can always go to thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Adams Drugs has been committed to the healthcare of the people of the River Region for over 62 years. We value the trust each customer has in our pharmacists, techs, and entire staff. If you have not experienced the difference of Adams Drugs and are not satisfied with the customer service that you get in the big box stores, we invite you to visit any of our locations and see how committed we are to your satisfaction. Adams Drugs offers a variety of services that you will not find in all pharmacies in the River Region. Personalized compounding, area-wide delivery, wellness screenings, immunizations, medication consultations, and specialized packaging, just to name a few. Visit us at our website, adamsdrugs.net, and find the location nearest you. Adams Drugs has 12 convenient locations to serve you. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Adams Drugs is your local Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For over 40 years, Headley Plumbing has been fixing the River Region's plumbing problems with fast, affordable service. The pros at Headley are ready to respond anytime you need help, and they charge fair rates for their expert service. They help River Region homes and businesses every day, from repairing leaky faucets, septic tank service, replacing damaged sewer lines, or just unstopping a blocked drain. Trust the experts at Headley Plumbing. Call 285-3667. Headley Plumbing, 285-3667. Remember Headley's motto, in our business, a flush beats a full house.
Headley Metal Buildings has been your source for quality metal buildings in the River Region since 2007. Carports up to 24 feet wide, RV covers, storage buildings, even a sturdy metal barn up to 54 feet wide. Your structure can be customized, installed on level ground, and comes with a 20-year warranty. Let Headley Metal Buildings help you find the perfect solution. Financing available. Call 285-3667 for details or find Headley Metal Buildings on Facebook.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by the Harriet 2.
The Harriet 2 Riverboat has the perfect way to start your weekend each Friday with the Spring Dinner Cruise. Enjoy live entertainment, dine on a delicious family-friendly dinner with your favorite beverage from the Cash Bar. Boarding starts at 6:30 and the cruise at 7. Book your cruise today at funinmontgomery.com.
We have been batting 1,000 on this week's weather. Today, a weak frontal system will move into the state, and there could be some isolated, widely scattered showers somewhere, but most towns will stay dry. Another comfortable day, high 73, mostly clear overnight tonight, low 42. Sunshine will be in abundance Friday, Saturday, Sunday. High temperature near 70 on Friday, 73 on Saturday, and 67 on Sunday. We've got some stormy weather coming in around the middle of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man, Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Erdit. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hello, I'm Mr. Ben. If your vehicle has seen better days, fear not, help is on the way. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express has added a professional detail shop. Specialized techniques and products are used to get your vehicle back to showroom shape. Hand washing, waxing, stain removal, odor removal, shampooing, minor scratch removal, and more. Mr. Ben's Auto Spa Express, next to Fraser Church on the Atlanta Highway. Come by for a free estimate. Look like you've been to Mr. Ben.
Headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your news talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back.
I don't consider that Hunger Games.
Man, Eddie, you're in a crazy mood
Hold
today.
on, yeah, wait.
You're in a crazy mood today, man.
Yeah,
272-9228.
What's wrong with that?
Beta 36. Everything would be gone to hell by then anyway.
Just saying, what's wrong with that? You are accountable for your own actions and your own hunger.
And if you
and
want to feed
education.
yourself, go kill a bear.
Render that fat down. Yeah.
Right. Not the worst idea in the world. Get you a coat out of the deal, jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, this part of the program?
Yeah.
Brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. Aren't those good folks over there?
Oh, those wonderful folks over there. In fact, I hope we get to see one of them next week.
Madeline?
I would hope Madeline will be coming by. This is my shout out to Madeline. Come by and see us next Tuesday.
We miss you, Madeline.
Very much so.
We're talking, of course, about Madeline Cannon. Her and Kim Williams there at Alabama Home Mortgage are ready to help you out.
Two of the greatest people I know in that business, Joey.
And it could be, like you're looking to buy a home.
Say you're looking to buy a home, first-time home buyer, or maybe this is your 5th, 6th, 7th home to buy, but you want people that you feel comfortable with.
Yes.
These are those kind of folks.
Local folks that don't answer to some massive corporation either. That, actually, that's why Kim started Alabama Home Mortgage. I think she was working for some big bank, and she realized I can get people such a better deal.
Yep.
A much better deal if I do it on my own. And, of course, Kim and Madeline have been doing just that for years now. They do wonderful work. And, of course, they can also help you with a refinance deal, which is
some of the best.
Great way to get credit card debt off your back. Or
they had one done the other day, Joey, in like 12 days.
Wow.
12-day turnaround.
What a relief.
Yeah.
Think about it. You're making those minimum payments. You're struggling. You're worrying about it. The stress has got to be unreal. And in 12 days, they've got the problem solved for you. So y'all call them up today. It's an easy process. Starts with a conversation at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Let's go to David. Hey, David.
Oh, yeah. Hey, boy, I'll tell you, mortgages be a tough business to be in right now. What with all of the DOGE firing, all these people are all of a sudden not going to have a job, and they're going to be losing their houses. So that'd be a tough business. Hey, well,
with 8 months severance, or okay, whatever, man.
Oh, it's going to be tough. And what I really called about, though, do you remember during America being over in Afghanistan and in Iraq, the Alabama National Guard got trapped there, right? I think that was the state that got trapped there the longest. Almost 20 years, some of them, right?
I don't know. You're educating me.
Yeah, well, there were a couple of National Guards. I'm trying to remember if it was Texas or Louisiana, but it was also Alabama. And I think Alabama came out on top because how many got trapped out there. Now we hear that Casino Boy is going to get a piece of the Holy Land. Donald Trump wants to get Gaza. Well, what do you bet the National Guard's going to be out there trying to protect Trump's Gaza scam?
You don't think that was just an idea that he threw out there to get the other people?
No, David, you seem incredibly ignorant of the process that's going on here.
Oh, you mean you didn't see the video that he came out with yesterday?
Right.
About having a glorious...
And why is he doing that?
Because he's a con artist.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's to drive all the players in the region to the table, which is actually already happening with the Arab League and other players, because they see that is not optimal. And it's also a way to put Israel and Netanyahu might have interest otherwise to go back in and fight a little bit under wraps.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular, it makes Egypt and Jordan get to the table along with the other rich Gulf Arabs, because Hamas rerunning that part of the Gaza Strip is just untenable. So he's saying, I'm going to be crazy enough, I'm going to flip the table and create a worst case scenario. And if y'all don't want that, y'all come up with something, but we're not going back to the old process that's never worked.
Is it the Holy Land?
Gaza?
Yeah.
Okay, so somebody playing games, Casino Boy playing games with the Holy Land, right?
He's trying to get Casino Boy to stick.
Yeah, this is like, David, are you okay?
Is he Casino Boy? Is he? Is MAGA a whole pack of gamblers? Are they who you want running the Holy Land?
How old are you?
Old enough to know better.
Mm-hmm.
You think honestly that Casino Boy would be able to manage an area? And by the way, you know how much oil is underneath Gaza.
Like, you just didn't even hear a word I said here, man.
Well, you didn't think before you talked. I'm trying not to humiliate you.
Oh, F off, dude. F off. You're humiliating yourself, sir. Like, you didn't even think about a word I just said. It's a gambit to have other players in the region come in and actually make a deal. It's putting pressure on everybody in the region to actually make a deal. Instead of the two-state process, it's ended up with thousands and thousands dead over the last few decades.
Well, let's see. What do they call taxation with representation? Is that what America's supposed to be? Is that what a democracy is supposed to be? Is Israel a democracy? Are they supposed to be providing taxation with representation to the Christians there, to the Muslims there, to the Jews there? That everybody gets to use the drinking fountain, everybody gets to use the roads, everybody gets to play in the parks? No, they're playing Casino Boy in the Holy Land, and you're saying it's a gambit. No.
Yes. What else would you suggest? Just what's your suggestion? Say it was like not Casino Boy. It was like it was President Bartlett from the West Wing. What would be the solution?
Taxation with representation.
So in just one state. Do you think that would work out and be agreed to by the parties in the region? One state?
Israel hasn't provided taxation with representation top to bottom, from Lebanon all the way down to Gaza. They've been segregating everybody, locking them in, refusing to get them out of the walls, refusing to cutting off their food supplies, cutting off their medical supplies. That's not.
So Israel should just put down all their arms, stop all these programs, because there weren't any wars that broke out. Going all the way back to the founding, as soon as they announced we're a state, a war was started, and they won. So that doesn't count for anything.
Taxation with representation is what they're supposed to have. You bored with taxation with representation? Well, that Trump is too. Trump doesn't like taxation with representation. What do you think that USAID is all about? And what do you think the equity inclusion?
USAID is a scheme for dual-use purposes to advance supposedly United States national interests, but it started to run its own frickin' programs.
What do you think? What was it for?
USAID, well, talk to John F. Kennedy. He was the one that started it.
Well, he's dead. I'm talking.
Yeah, I really can't talk to him.
I'm sure they could find some accounts that are sketchy, but the name of the game is that Trump is opposed to taxation with representation. What do you think diversity, equity, and inclusion is? Diversity, everybody. Inclusion, everybody.
Goodness
equity,
gracious.
Inclusion,
You're
everybody.
a moron, dude.
Yes,
you are. You really are. You are ignorant to a lot of the things that are going on in this world, and it's probably because you've got past your prime. I think that's probably what it is.
1,000 years now we've had the Magna Carta, and that the king is supposed to look out for every sparrow. Okay. He's not. Trump isn't looking.
You know, the people that got the king to sign the Magna Carta, a lot of them were killed by the king, right?
But the Magna Carta lived on, right? And so those aristocrats have hated it for 1,000 years. And we, the people, own this country. And Donald Trump...
Yes, and we, the people, just elected Casino Boy and elected these folks to do these things, like, in a pretty overwhelming way, sir.
No, it was not overwhelming. It was by minimum. And it also had to do with yanking people's right to vote. You don't think that all that vote purging made a difference?
No, like, seriously, you talk this game of, like, you're deep into this liberal progressive stuff, but your mentality is as authoritarian as anybody else's. Like, you live in your own frickin' world. Get off and stop calling my show unless you want to yell at each other some more. Good God. You sound like my uncle. You sound like so many other folks that don't take a moment to have a little bit of nuance. You're like, well, but Joey, you're this right-wing person. It's like, no, I constantly question myself. I constantly think even the people I like are up to something. But good God. Morons. You give people a little bit, teach them how to read, and they think they know everything in the world. Goodness gracious.
Told you should have picked up Sam.
If you think, by the way, voting every few years gives you great representation, well, okay, no wonder. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusada, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With that SRN News, I'm Jason Walker. Perhaps you saw the anti-DOGE demonstrations greeting GOP lawmakers last week. Most of them, if not all of them, were not real. They were organized by left-wing groups, most of them led by George Soros-funded groups. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has extended an official state visit invitation to President Trump on behalf of King Charles. Mr. Trump gladly accepted that invitation, which came at the start of their meeting today at the White House. U.S. and Russian diplomats holding talks in Turkey. They're discussing ways to normalize the operation of their respective embassies. President Trump backing up his words. He says he will impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico starting next Tuesday, in addition to doubling the 10% tariff charged on imports from China. This is SRN News.
For many out on the streets with no address, when the hope dies, it's hard to be found.
You get these people off our streets now.
It's not that simple. They're human beings. Where are they meant to go?
Homelessness could happen to anyone.
I don't know how much longer I can do this.
Their story is our story.
You never know in life why things work out the way they do.
Never give up.
No Address, starring William Baldwin, Ashanti, and Ty Pennington. In theaters this Friday. Get your tickets at noaddressmovie.com.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is MetaShare. Maybe you've heard joining MetaShare can save families up to $500 a month, and obviously that's a big deal, but they like it too, especially being part of something that reflects their values instead of working against them. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. Find out more. Call 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34.
Rich Thomas weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where over-the-road dump truck drivers are needed right now. Home twice a week and every weekend. Must leave early on Sunday with Blue Cross Blue Shield. Call them now at 855-777-9785.
We have been batting 1,000 on this week's weather. Today, a weak frontal system will move into the state, and there could be some isolated, widely scattered showers somewhere, but most towns will stay dry. Another comfortable day, high 73, mostly clear overnight tonight, low 42. Sunshine will be in abundance Friday, Saturday, Sunday. High temperature near 70 on Friday, 73 on Saturday, and 67 on Sunday. We've got some stormy weather coming in around the middle of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
The Education Committee within the Alabama House has passed a bill that would ban cell phones within K-12 public school classrooms. The bill is being sponsored by State Representative Lee Halsey and puts a ban on all wireless devices being present during instructional time. Current state law allows a local school board to permit the presence of the cell phones and other devices on school campus, but this new law would prohibit the use, operation, or possession of a wireless communication device during the instructional day. The commissioner for the Alabama Department of Mental Health, Kim Boswell, spoke to the Education Committee about the negative effects that cell phones and social media are having on children and adolescents. Boswell says depression and anxiety among the youth has skyrocketed from 2010 to 2020, and she listed 4 fundamental harms that are caused by cell phones: social deprivation, sleep deprivation, attention fragmentation, and addiction. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Are you enjoying 1819 News? If so, consider joining 1819 News as a member. As a nonprofit news organization, we depend on the support of Alabamians like you. Memberships start out as little as $5 a month, and you'll get access to exclusive content only offered to our members. You'll be supporting independent journalism done by people who cherish Alabama values. Become a member today by visiting 1819news.com and clicking Become a Member. That's 1819news.com and click Become a Member today.
The Food and Drug Administration and the Center for Disease Control have now traced the original source of a listeria contamination within frozen supplemental shakes. The Prairie Farm facility in Indiana had another listeria outbreak, which has affected the Cisco products that are sent to 21 states, including Alabama. The frozen supplemental shakes are primarily used in nursing homes for the elderly, and this listeria contamination has now caused 12 deaths and 38 infections. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I've calmed down some. We really do live in different worlds sometimes, folks.
Takes all kinds.
It does. But I'm looking forward to this conversation because joining us now, we have Jeff Deist. Jeff, how you doing today, sir?
Hey, Joey. Calmer than you, apparently.
Yeah, I just went off on a caller here.
Calm down.
It happens sometimes. I think it's a pitfall of the job here. One thing I want to start with is sort of Alabama politics, because I don't pick your brain often on this. But for folks who don't know, how long have you been living here in the great state of Alabama?
Well, 11 years. Does that count? I mean, does that qualify for provisional status, or what do I get for 11 years?
Gentlemen, would y'all say that qualifies?
Where'd you come from?
Well, look at it this way:
Yankee.
You know, the Alabama convert is more zealous than the Alabama native born, if you know what I mean.
Do you put sugar in your cornbread?
Good question.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'll defer to my wife on that.
No, that's the right answer. So, being an Alabamian, you're an honorary Alabamian, I think, at this point, a decade plus.
Honorary? I mean, I'm looking for at least, semi-professional status here.
Okay, because you push back, you're an Alabamian. All right, we'll give it to you. Because I'd imagine this is maybe a better place to live when you're looking at government compared to some other places you might have resided. But when I look at our state government, I just see slow plotting, a lot of bureaucratic process. We have a very conservative state in cultural sense and on social issues, but it seems like when it comes to government, we still have a lot of horse trading in this good old boy network. And I'm thinking of this, especially as we're watching this current legislative session. But given your 10, 11 years here, how do you view the state government?
Well, it's certainly better than most, and you don't necessarily want an efficacious or fast-acting state government. There are some good arguments for saying, hold your horses, instead of getting things done, because a lot of the things people want done are maybe things we don't want nor need. I like to view it as a situation that's akin to Norway, because the population of Alabama is roughly, that's a little smaller, but it's roughly that of Norway. And so you think that, 5.5 million people can actually be a sovereign nation if you think about it that way. And I think Joey and I and Eddie and I would like to see more latitude given to states, more things decided at the state level than the federal level for sure. So what I think is really a great thing about Alabama, and I really encourage people to act on this, and I have had the opportunity to act on this, is that you can get to know certainly your state rep. You can get to know your U.S. rep. I've run into Tommy Tuberville at CVS. I have had the opportunity to meet and get to know a couple of the Supreme Court justices through going to Federalist Society meetings. Through knowing Joey and some other radio folks, I could connect with Katie Britt's office if I needed to. So a lot of the things you might want to get done, even if it's with your city council, are a heck of a lot easier in a state like Alabama than imagine a state like California or Illinois, where not only the population of the government is that much bigger, but it's also just more corrupt, more bureaucratic, were Byzantine. So there's a lot to be said about Alabama politics. And I think 1819 News has been a really refreshing new entrant, new participant to the conversation. And I think that they're an excellent source for what's happening in the State House, or what's happening locally. And I live in Auburn, which is very much a growing and I would like to think up and coming place. With that comes some problems of growth and traffic and zoning and high schools being overcrowded and that sort of thing. But all in all, you'd rather have these problems than those of, let's say, states which are hemorrhaging population like New Jersey and like Illinois. So, we have an opportunity. I think, to make Alabama what we want it to be.
Well, and I wanted to ask you because this is the only place I've really known. And when you say how good is it, you always got to say compared to what. And especially when I look at California or think of Jersey, I'd much rather be here in Alabama. That said, though, what do you think of, and I was asking folks earlier today, what do you think of Governor Kay Ivey at this point?
Well, there's a lame duck vibe to her. It's sort of like we're waiting for the next governor. I give her about a D- on COVID, which matters a lot to me, which was an area where governors had an awful lot of latitude. That wasn't your federal government telling you, to stay home and not go to school. That was your state government. So let's just be clear about that. So I think she did very poorly there. And, I think that I would like to see a lot more 30, 40, and 50 somethings in government and fewer 60, 70, and 80 somethings in government. And I think that starts with her.
Yeah, and I find that there is kind of an old guard in Alabama that were sort of the old Dixiecrats finally shifted over to the Republican Party. And even though they are better than, say, other states in this nation, to my liking, I would kind of want to see that energy of youth, as you said. But, 50 years old, you got enough experience, too, under your belt to not be – we don't have to be 20-somethings like it's the Revolutionary War and come up with the Articles of Confederation. It might be a little nuts. So I think there is something to be said, though, for generational turnover. Seems to already be happening in D.C., though.
Yeah, it is happening to an extent. We're definitely seeing some younger U.S. reps, and social media has played a big role in that. There's some stuff that I see coming from our national politicians on social media that I don't really like. A familiarity, breezy language, intemperate language, this sort of thing that only lends itself to this image we have that these are unserious people, and that they're hacks, and that they're not particularly more knowledgeable than us, that they don't have any particular expertise in whatever matters, whatever committees they happen to sit on. And so that's uncomfortable. That's not what I want to see. I would like to see members of Congress paid more. I would like to see them paid maybe $500,000 a year, so that wealthy, successful, accomplished people might actually consider serving, as we'd like to think of it, actually consider being a public servant rather than someone who's simply grasping the next rung on the ladder for a politician. Maybe they go from state politician to federal. And I believe that members of Congress and U.S. senators get paid something along the lines of $175,000 per year, which is not what it used to be. But more importantly, it's awfully suspicious how many of them either midway through office or leave office with a $5, $10, $20, $30 million net worth. So gee whiz, you can buy Sanka and eat ramen all day long, but $175,000 times even 10 or 20 years in Congress doesn't equal 5 million last time I added it all up. So, I think we have a problem with attracting some dummies to Congress, some people who aren't very accomplished, who aren't very impressive. And I would argue that maybe if they were paid quite a bit more, we could have some high power, high achieving people. Yeah,
I have an uncle who, for the longest time, has advocated pay him $2 million, pay him $3 million, and then kind of get rid of this pay-to-play system when it comes to raising money for the party. And I think that's where you see a lot of these kickbacks, whether it's insider trading or there, I think, other ways where money is funneled into families. Maybe that could work out.
Yeah, one thing people need to really understand about the U.S. House is that the goal is to become a party player. And you do that by having a very safe district back home. In other words, a district that's comfortably red or blue, and that you don't have to worry much then about a general election. And beyond that, hopefully a district where you don't have to worry much about a primary challenger either. So what you do while you're not having to worry about reelection is you go out and you raise all kinds of money, and you give that money to the party because you don't need it for your personal campaign. You just spend a little bit every 2 years on some radio and TV, maybe some door to door, and it's easy for you to stay in office. And we see the reelection rates in Congress. I mean, there's lots of members who are doing this. And as a result, you're raising millions of dollars, you're turning it over to the party. The party is elevating your status, giving you more plum committee assignments, that sort of thing. So it really is a pay-to-play game. And so when you think like, well, why is so-and-so on a particular committee, let's say the House Banking Committee, or let's say the House Energy Committee, whatever it might be, you think, well, gee, they must have a background in banking and finance. Maybe they have a background in energy. Not true. Not the case at all. As a matter of fact, the committees they sit on is almost entirely a result of the amount that they donate to the party. So the more they donate, the more exclusive and sought after committees, the more powerful committees they get on. And as a result of being on more powerful committees, more people donate to them. So you see how the rich get richer very quickly.
Well, and for folks who don't know, again, we're talking to Jeff Deist. For a while, was chief of staff to then Congressman Ron Paul, president of the Mises Institute there in Auburn, Alabama for about a decade. You're now general counsel with Monetary Metals, right?
Indeed, yes.
I don't know if I asked you about, well, I did ask you about the Fort Knox thing last week. Instead, I'm looking at your X profile, your Twitter profile, and you're responding to something Christina Freeland of Canada was saying, but I just kind of want you to expand on the point you made. Said, pretty remarkable unless you understand how the post-war consensus was a manufactured narrative without popular support. The post-war consensus wasn't, the vote of the people that really supported all this?
Yes. Well, I wish this is a message I would like to get through to the aforementioned senators, Katie Britt and Tommy Tuberville. We got to get out of 1985. And it turns out that even 1985 wasn't 1985. And what I mean by that is I think we've both been reading a book by R.R. Reno, who's a famous sort of Catholic theologian who edits a magazine called First Things. And he wrote a book called Return of the Strong Gods. And he talks about this post-war consensus, which we've all been bought into believing, which is true, which is basically that there's a certain degree of liberalism and human rights that is going to sweep the world. And there's going to be a Western-style democratic government everywhere. And that this is mostly going to be a unipolar world run by the United States, but the United States is benevolent. And so you don't have to worry about that. And all these outdated regimes like the former Soviet Union are going to be no problem. And we're going to reach this nice, happy end of history. And so it turns out, and we're finding through DOGE and through USAID and other things, that, not just the educational curriculum, but the media narrative has been largely shaped by governments themselves. It hasn't been independent. It hasn't been marketplace driven. It's been opinion influencers and shapers telling us what to think. And so if you look back at the period since World War II, which is, a long time now, coming up, it's 80 some years now, you'll find that all these things that we were told were just inescapably true. Well, maybe they weren't. And actually, when people got a chance to vote on those things, people, one of the reasons Nixon had Watergate was because of Vietnam. One of the reasons Brexit happened, one of the reasons AfD happened in Germany is because people don't like endless immigration. In other words, we're told that the post-war order led by America and, that is in force across the West and actually sweeping across the entire world is a liberal order, and that this is what people want. And it's not what people want. And they demonstrate it time and time and time again. So now, and this isn't easy for any of us. I mean, I'm a Reagan era kid, the 80s was sort of my heyday. And we had a view of the world, and it's hard to just shake that based on new information, but, we have to do so. We have to be smart about this. And a lot of that post-war consensus can be seen wrapped up in a ball called $36 trillion in debt, because Uncle Sam's been paying for Europe's defense and running around the world and having, wars in the Middle East, So it hasn't served us well. And now finally, I think with what we're seeing is happening with the dollar, with U.S. foreign policy, it's coming around to bite us in the you-know-what.
Now, you 80s kid, Reagan's kid. See, I'm a 90s kid. And I remember thinking the U.S. government could do anything. I mean, the 90s really was very prosperous time. And also, I remember all my aunts and uncles, my parents were watching West Wing, and it's sort of that West Wingification of politics. In fact, I even have a drop here.
What the hell are we doing here?
We are behaving the way a superpower ought to behave.
Well, our behavior has produced some crappy results.
And what I find interesting, even in Sorkin's writing back then, they're starting to see, man, managing this whole world as a superpower or empire, we have to end up doing a lot of crazy things. And I bring all that up to say that I've gone through the phase of I thought the best, this almost cartoon version of the nation. And as I have grown up somewhat, I notice like all the rot within the system, and that a lot of these ideals and narratives we were sold just ain't true. And it's, I know it's painful for folks out there, but hopefully this election, I think, does herald a critical mass of people waking up. Now, since last week, what do you think of where the Trump administration continues to take things? To me, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down too much, but there's a lot of creative ideas. For instance, we were just talking about the whole gold card program, $5 million through EB5, $5 million, and you're on a fast track to becoming a citizen. You are a legal resident. But in general, what are you making of the Trump folks over the week?
Well, I'm pleased to see that there's at least a consideration of spending in debt. I don't like this new budget that was passed, I guess, yesterday with Thomas Massie in the House and Rand Paul in the Senate voting no, thankfully. But, I think that the Republicans are going to do what Trump wants because he won a popular vote. I mean, they view this as getting Trump's way at your own peril. So it's good to see at least some focus on spending. It's good to see DOGE talking about that. It's good to see Elon talking about that. And it's not just the dollars and cents involved in these federal agencies, as we shall see. The big money is in Social Security, Medicare, and national defense, so-called. The big money is not in USAID or the IRS or any other place like that. But what's interesting is what is the purposes to which that money went, which was to help craft a narrative for American hegemony and for American liberalism. In other words, it's not just the money. It's what the money was used for. And in many senses, in many ways, we're going to find out a hell of a lot more, I think. In many ways, that money was used directly against our own interests, to foment wars abroad, to gin up politicians abroad who were favorable to us, to gin up greater spending at home, to prop up all kinds of NGOs and foundations, to many of which were run by, let's say, the spouse of a member of Congress who's voting on it. I mean, it's not going to be pretty when it's all said and done.
Now, one more question before I let you go. Imagine, let's say, a wealthy person who's set kind of in retirement. They're looking where to donate money. What do I do with all this money? It might be to everyday working people a weird problem to have, but it is a problem. If you're sitting on a bunch of money, you're like, what do I do with all this stuff? What would you advise people in general? How should they donate money? How should they use their money?
Yeah, well, we've seen that the NGO foundation nonprofit complex, such as it is not all that private. It's not all that charitable. It seems like it's separate and distinct from government. You pay your taxes for things like Social Security and food stamps and all that. But then on the charitable side, when you give some money, let's say to your church or to your local Good Neighbors or United Way or whatever, that's sort of direct charity to hopefully a poor person, right? But it's oftentimes not that at all. Oftentimes the money you're donating is really being used in very political senses, being used in bureaucratic senses, and the amount of money that's being taken off the top to pay salaries and administrative stuff is sometimes shockingly high in some of these nonprofits. So you really have to be careful. And the current Internal Revenue Code, I would just throw out there, allows you to give up to $18,000 per person per year without generating any, what they call gift tax or having any impact on your estate tax. So, direct giving, imagine what $18,000 directly would mean to a struggling family in terms of, utilities, groceries, car, whatever it might be, versus sending it off to, the Red Cross or something like that. So the only thing I would say is go as local and direct as you can.
I love it. Well, I appreciate the time as always. If folks want to check out what you're working on, what you're thinking about? How can they do
Yes, they should. I work for a company called Monetary Metals. I'm the general counsel, and we've come up with ways to use physical precious metals to earn yield and to put them to use, almost like money. When you save and borrow in dollars and capitalize companies in dollars. Well, it turns out we can use precious metals to do that. So you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Deist, all one word.
Well, appreciate it as always, Jeff. And one of these days, stop by. We can do longer than 20 minutes.
I will. I owe Eddie.
There you go. Well, thank you, Jeff.
See you, Jeff.
Again, folks, that is Jeff Deist. Always fantastic having him here on the program. In 272-9228, if you want to get in on the conversation, that's 334-272-9228. That was a nice just to bring down because even before the wretched call, Eddie, you're in a mood today, man.
Good.
How do you feel about people?
I hate people.
How do you feel about Social Security?
Well, now that I'm this close to it, I would settle for 25 cents on the dollar instead of a nickel.
How do you feel about the post office? How do you feel about the robots?
Well, being that I can program one, I'm not too worried about Robux.
Robots?
Robots. I'm telling you, man, I worked with this guy. He was a Robux programmer for 20 years, and that's what he called them, Robux.
No, that's how Asimov used to call it, robots.
Robots. Hey, man, that Robux kid in your butt. What is that Robux?
Oh, he called it Buck.
Yeah, like Sears and Roebuck. It's
Roebuck.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, what is that? Roebuck. That Roebuck kicking your butt. Yeah, okay.
And by the way, sometimes when I've noticed, I really do think about, okay, why did I get upset about that social media post or that particular call? And it might be a surprise to y'all. The negative sticks with you. Like there are negative phone calls from 4 years ago. I still remember. And it's just something about negative emotion sort of sticks in the mind because you're like, I don't want to feel that again. But it's part of the trade. And I sometimes think, well, why did I get upset there? And I think part of what I'm still having trouble with is what I just said to Jeff Deist there. I really was that kid, like America could do everything. And like West Wing is like a great model for politics, this can-do attitude. And the 10 years here in radio, I've seen the change. And I'm like, I just can't be that kid anymore. I can't be that person. And I think I see my past self, or at least that mentality, when I'm talking to folks and, old, young, whatever. And I'm like, where have you been? How do you not know this yet? How have you not broken out of at least that mentality? We don't have to agree on everything. There's all sorts of schemes for government and how we bring all this new technology to bear and who you might vote for at the end of the day. But sometimes I'm like, it really is a completely different world. Completely different world.
Well, people have coping mechanisms, right and left. And
some won't let me bring mine in the studio.
Some people,
That's not me. That's the state government.
Yeah, actually, you're right. That's why I hate government right there.
Walk around, with some sort of a bubble or bag around them, and they just don't want to believe that things are, as bad as they are.
Honestly, sometimes, this is just from an old man's perspective, sometimes you will find out that things were worse than you thought, and you feel like a fool for not seeing it that long. And you just kind of, I hate saying it, but you kind of ignore it. You just, I don't want to.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
No, in many ways, I like a lot of great libertarian friends of mine were superheroes during the COVID thing. Like they called it out the first week. They saw through it. And it was like, I didn't. I went into that bubble kind of, let's just plow through this. And because we were doing the shows back then.
I couldn't. And
that's sort of just like, let's push through and,
I couldn't buy into it. I didn't buy into it from the get-go. And it wasn't because I'm some genius or something like that. The more
your instincts were like,
the more that I've learned, the more the government or SEC coach says something, the more it's BS. The harder they push,
the more you have to say something, the less true it is. It's kind of like that old. And when someone says, "Oh, I'm the most honest person I know,"
right. Especially when they started guilting it into, guilting you to do this, and then they're turning neighbor on neighbor. Nah.
Oh, and it's downright. That's Stasi, East Germany stuff right there.
It was too easy. That's what bothers me the most. It was too easy for Americans to buy into.
I'm trying to think, when did I turn? Do you remember?
When you turn what?
Like when I'm like, this is ridiculous. It was a few months in.
It was a few months in, but I think you had doubt the whole time.
Yeah.
You just, like anybody, you kind of like, I got doubt, but I don't
What do I do with it?
Right. Right, because we were told you're wrong to even doubt it.
Right.
Well, the part that scared me more than anything was just like the systemic collapse around the ventilators and that sort of thing. Like that was the part, like, okay, regardless of whether you believe it originated here, there, man-made, weaponized, what have you, the reality of the strain on the hospital system, that's what scared the bejeebies out of me.
Do you think that's fixed?
No. I mean,
not at all.
Nothing's fixed.
That's what drives me nuts. You remember during COVID in the beginning, they said, oh, this is what we get for letting our medicines be made in China. Guess where all the medicines are still made? In China. Hospitals still worse than ever before.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. We didn't learn a lesson. We're typical Americans. We bought some, we paid with some money, bought our time, and then we're like, hey, it's all good again. We'll just forget about it.
Well, and I guess my biggest disappointment of that is I had hoped like, oh, well, the lockdown's in and be like a celebration.
Yeah.
Like we got through this, and that just didn't happen. It really didn't. It was sort of like some restrictions loosened, some, but then all like the psychological traps are still there, and everybody's scarred.
I kept
from
waiting
it.
for them to go, okay, we were wrong. Y'all can come beat us up now. And I had a posse. We were ready to go.
I seriously didn't feel that release until, say, the last October of last year.
Yeah.
As like things started to turn when I'm seeing like these folks I'd followed for years. And I think the different worlds thing really is just different media.
Yeah,
and it's different ways of
It
communicating.
is.
And I think there are some folks who are still stuck in, very smart people who go, I read the Wall Street Journal, I read the New York Times, I look at the ABC Nightly News or whatever, I look at my local news. I would say newspaper, but hardly any of them exist. And I think that people are just in those habits. And they want to trust the trusted sources. And I just can't
when these trusted
trust them
sources have
anymore.
lied.
It's comfort.
There it is. It's comfort.
Well, no, I think the response is y'all are just sowing, mistrust. And the reason people don't trust is because y'all sowed it.
Yeah.
Not because they actually did bad things.
I could actually go with the examples of, well, I mistrust you because, or go with Ruby Ridge. We have examples of where the government's constantly lied to us, poisoned us in the past. I can never trust them again. Never.
No, and I think a big part of the change for young folks, and especially Gen X, you're a little older Gen X, right?
Yeah.
But I think you're definitely Gen X.
Right on the cusp.
Yeah, right on cusp of older millennial, young Gen Xer.
Yeah, I'm young Gen X.
Yeah. And so I think a big part of it is the shift through so many of the hope and change promises. And I hate to remind folks, you voted for Obama.
I fell for that.
You voted for Obama.
For that. Yeah, I fell for that hook, line,
It was my first election. And I remember I didn't vote for him because I had like my dad and uncle, they gave a lot of good reasons. I'm like, okay.
I know that feeling too.
No, they gave a lot of good reasons from like, just, I hate tax. Yeah. Like my dad's politics is I hate taxes. That's pretty much his politics.
That's a good one.
And he's always been an entrepreneur, kind of go get it himself type. And I remember him and my uncle stopped me as well. Same kind of mentality, like very conservative. He was, my uncle, very Reagan Revolution guy. So I didn't vote for Obama, but I was thinking when Obama won, I'm like, well, he is promising a lot of great stuff. And what I meant by that was like, oh, we might have a post-racial America. I had one professor laugh in my face when I brought that up. He was right. I was wrong. I was only 18. I remember though, like all the promises about the transparent meetings and like all the major reforms that he was going to put in place.
Yep.
And especially like, we're not going to do the wars of choice, like George W. Bush and all these guys, and all the spying that went on during the Bush years as well. And you fast forward, and that's when I really started to watch politics every day and start to think these things through. And no, he did all that stuff and more.
And more.
And even like the big victory, it should be the crown jewel in the Obama legacy, Obamacare. The pharmaceutical companies bent them over a barrel with that deal.
That was where I was out. I mean, I was out when the whole DR thing, was actually
DR?
Democrat, Republican. I mean, I was never buying in that in any way, shape, or form. But where I really got energized was, the government-run healthcare. I mean, like, I'm a free market kind of guy. Now, the model that we had needed to be corrected, but that wasn't the way to do it.
Well, and then you think about like the wars, the bailouts. It looked like there might be a populist coalition right there after the bailouts, and then that's when the identity politics really kicks up. And the sort of hope and change, there are no red states, there are no blue states, goes out the window. And it leans much more into you don't look like
No,
me.
we built it.
You
You
don't have
did.
the same sexuality as me. You're the war on women. These sorts of things.
No, you said it wasn't there. It was there, but it was being drowned out by national media. But all that's why we had President Trump.
Yeah. And
he came from that.
Oh, yes, no doubt.
And even in the early days of Trump, there was still a lot of, I think, belief in like these old press organs and these old narrative makers, myth makers. And this is how the whole Russia thing gets started and gets going. To where now it's like, I think folks have been bitten so many times, and COVID is sort of the like cherry on top of all this, to where we're like, we don't believe you anymore. And like now we have put our people in place to actually change this system.
Yeah, that's something.
And so when I hear arguments that you could have heard made on the West Wing, or I hear the same, like citing the Times, citing the Journal, like I don't even, sometimes I'm just mad. I'm like, really? Where have you been? Where have you been?
Yeah, but those people have been busy raising their families, having jobs, all those sort of things. Where the Democrats completely jumped the shark was when they told average working people that women could be men and men could be women and men could have babies and all that sort of stuff. Because people who didn't pay attention to politics, they even thought that was absurd. Like, what in the hell are these people saying?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think the election did give daylight. It did say, like, okay, we're in a different age now. The war is not completely won, but that battle was won. And I mean, this new cabinet, seeing them yesterday, all assembled and all the, I like you, no, I like you better, I like you. It's like, we're going to see. Like, results will be needed.
Yeah.
You can't just be a bunch of promises, and the honeymoon has lasted quite a while now. I am heartened by how quickly the administration is moving.
Oh, this will be
I look at Congress, though, but I'm also heartened by things like the Supreme Court stepping in and saying, no, DOGE is fine.
That's what I mean.
For
This will
this
be
one
a
thing or
playbook
the
for future presidents. You don't come in there glad head and shaking hands, kissing babies. You got to come in kicking butt, because that's the whole reason the Democrats have not been able to even put a speed bump up. They are getting the news just like we are, through a fire hose. They can't organize to stop one thing because 10 more things have started.
I think it was Churchill had a quote or made a comment one time. He was a wartime prime minister, and after the war, he was no longer needed.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we are kind of at war with ourselves economically as far as the budget and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of need a wartime economic president. And
wartime consigliere.
And if Musk is that consigliere, then I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. I think he is. And I think a lot of these other folks, too, they're like, you look at the plans. Like, I do like this Steve Witkoff guy who's trying to get these deals done in foreign policy. I do like this Howard Lutnick guy. I think he's thinking very creatively like a successful businessman would think.
He reminds me of a little Jordan Belfort in there somewhere.
I'm glad, because
not too much.
When they're negotiating with America first. It's not like, hey, we're taking it like we have been for so long. Every single deal they've negotiated now has been a very pro-America deal. For the past 12 years, everything we've negotiated has been not for the best.
That's
of America.
right. We're negotiating from a position of strength.
Yeah, and we're not afraid to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Before, yes, we were the United States, so we could bring people to the table, but we brought people to the table only so we could get on our knees and kiss their butt. That ain't happening no more. That ain't happening.
It seems like we were more worried or concerned about building consensus.
Yes, and our image. It reminded me of a teenager.
Yeah.
Worried about image. No, not no
Well,
more.
and it also does seem like an opportunity where it's like there's always been kind of in conservative thought this idea of like the automatic win. Just in enough time, we'll just win. Like this can't go on forever. I had a slightly different version of that, and I think it is being borne out. That think of practical politicians, in your life. They're not really that ideological. They're just charming, and they know how to talk to everybody. And they do know everybody's name, and they generally keep promises to people in particular.
Right.
You might catch them being a little hypocritical in what they say publicly, but generally they're practical and like, I want to read the room, I want to read my interest, and I'm going to follow my interest because I want to get reelected and serve the people who elected me, give them what they want.
Right.
And so what you're seeing, I think, with the practical politicians is like, say the game Richard Shelby played forever. The game is kind of over.
I hope so.
Like because there isn't as much money there. There's still going to be the game of appropriations. There's still going to be the game of who gets military bases. There's still going to be the game of who gets, that piece of the pie. The point is, the pie is not as big as it once was.
So there's a premium on it.
Yes.
So people like Shelby will thrive.
Well, it depends on if you're in the right position.
Right.
No, but I think Shelby and Richard Leahy's friend and so many of those politicians that were there for decades, it was like we got all the money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just put all the money out. And now the practical reality is we don't have all the money. We do need to size back. And it actually, maybe to your point, you want a really practical person that can read the room in that situation.
Whoever's appropriations chair is going to be more influential.
Right.
Well, I hope with all this DOGE going on, our leadership will be a lot less likely to bring up stupid stuff for us to pay for, especially in public.
Well, but then add to that, like what the military has done for so long, especially since the end of the Cold War. It's like, no, we do need to revisit this.
There's a lot that needs to be revisited.
We need to revisit this quite deeply. And I think there's a lot of hunger for that, especially from Iraq war veterans, Afghanistan war veterans. There's obviously going to be disagreements here or there, but there is a sense of like, we need to, practically speaking, it's not even ideology. Practically speaking, we need to go in a certain direction. And what I find beautiful is if you do need to downsize things, the heart of this government is essentially libertarian. The heart of the Constitution and how the nation is founded is sort of that classical liberal mentality. And what I hope in, what I believe in, is if you remake things or you abolish things, your foundation is still there. And I say it all the time, if you set the American people free, I think you might be astounded by what they can accomplish. Good riddance. And sometimes I'm just, and then also they're just folks like Donald Trump bad, and that's the extent of
but if they set the Americans free, like we would really like for them to be, they will quickly realize they are not needed. That's why it's a control thing.
We got to hit a break. First, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health, and they're at Montgomery Men's Health. They're ready to help you fellas out if you're feeling run down and tired all the live long day, especially feeling like brain fog, like physically you're just like trudging through mud.
Right.
Could be you're never in the mood. You have no sex drive to speak of. You're seeing unwanted weight gain, loss of muscle mass. All this could point to low testosterone. And there at Montgomery Men's Health, their providers will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low-T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, brother, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism, and you usually even notice an increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663, that's 440-3663, or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by Ernest Financial.
If you're tired of losing your money in the stock market, call David Ernest, 334-279-7431. Ernest Financial, LLC.
We have been batting 1,000 on this week's weather. Today, a weak frontal system will move into the state, and there could be some isolated, widely scattered showers somewhere, but most towns will stay dry. Another comfortable day, high 73, mostly clear overnight tonight, low 42. Sunshine will be in abundance Friday, Saturday, Sunday. High temperature near 70 on Friday, 73 on Saturday, and 67 on Sunday. We've got some stormy weather coming in around the middle of next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
You can make your ASC loan payments from your phone anytime, anywhere. It's quick and easy. www.yourasccu.com. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage. For years, I've been asking you to call me at Alabama Home Mortgage because there is a difference in mortgage companies. When you call Alabama Home Mortgage, you will immediately see the difference in pricing. Not only do we offer the most competitive rates, but our closing costs rank among the lowest in the industry. How do we do it? Because we can. We do not have the overhead that big banks and lenders do. Those big banks and lenders have big expenses. And what do? They pass those expenses along to you. Meanwhile, here at Alabama Home Mortgage, we receive wholesale rates which result in big savings that we pass along to you. Don't pay more for less. Give Alabama Home Mortgage a call at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com to complete an application on your time. Our rates and pricing are just one difference that sets us apart from the rest. It's not just a slogan. Call Alabama Home Mortgage because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, Equal Housing Lender.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson with the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. My last message was the report for 2024 real estate market in the River region. According to industry experts, they predict for 2025 we will have more inventory to choose from for our buyers, more buyers for sellers to show their houses to. Here are 5 tips for buyers or sellers in 2025. Number 1, sellers need to price their home at fair market value with the help of your realtor. Number 2, buyers need to be pre-qualified by a local lender prior to shopping for a house to save them time. Number 3, use a certified residential specialist or CRS to purchase or sell your home. Less than 2% of realtors nationwide have this designation. You need an expert now. 4, use someone with 48 years of real estate experience to help you with your largest investment. Number 5, quit waiting. Now's the time to buy or sell. Call Bo Goodson at 221-2883, the Goodson Group, or 551-0225.
Welcome back, folks. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and their Pest Pro, Ashley, and that fantastic team are ready to help you out with any and all of your pest control needs. I know a lot of folks in our listening audience have already used them. They're a great local trusted company. I know you've used them several times.
I use them several times. In fact, at our Airbnb, we use them exclusively. In fact, I had someone call me yesterday and said, hey, I think I got termites. I said, before you even go any further, and I gave him Pest Pro's number. So these are folks you need to call. And he was worried about, because he had heard us talking about the swarm. He goes, what's a swarm look like? I told him to go on Google, look it up. He did not like what he saw in the lease. So now he's paranoid. So I think they're going out there, I think Friday, to take care of him. But a great thing about them, if he didn't have termites, they're going to tell you up front, and they're going to let you know they've got preventative maintenance they can take care of to help you with that. But they're not just going to come sell you a bill of goods, folks. That's one of the greatest things I like about them. Like at our Airbnb, I was worried about moisture issues in the basement. We talked about a vapor barrier to kind of prevent that. Well, they check the humidity. They're like, you really don't need one. You're under that. So again, they could have sold me a couple $1,000s worth of equipment. I gladly would have taken it. But they were nice enough to say, you really don't need that, Eddie.
Well, I guess the point is they've earned their reputation.
Yeah.
Their trustworthiness.
Very much so.
And so just call them up. 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or you can go to ppsriverregion.com or just search Pest Pro Services on Facebook. And, of course, they're always looking for a player of the week, highlighting great local athletes, whether it's a great performance or a sign of, like, teamwork and good sportsmanship and leadership. Just direct message them on Facebook. Hey, this kid did this amazing thing. And they'll be looking through those nominations to be naming players of the week. And, again, folks, when you want to know, call a pro. That's Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell Ashley and that great team, Joey and Eddie, those fellas on the radio, sent you. We were looking for the Epstein file drop.
So that story I read a minute ago, now it's pulled back. You got to access joined Fox News to get it.
Oh, no.
I still find pieces and parts of it, but basically the Epstein list, they've released part of it, what we thought was going to be the whole thing. Apparently they've kind of held part of it back, and now people like Senator Blackburn are asking for the full release.
And that the FBI is sort of the ones holding
what
it?
I read a while ago is the FBI was holding the rest of this information back. So we'll see how that goes. Now that Kash Patel's in over there, I don't think this information will be withheld very long.
Well, good. We need to continue to push.
Oh, I love it. Blackburn, she says it right out. These folks need to be in jail.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I think she's been on top of this for a while.
Yeah.
She's calling out Dick Durbin and several folks on this.
And honestly, again, as Americans, why would they hold this back from us and then tell us at the same time that, hey, they know what's best for us? Come on.
Yeah, I just don't, I don't buy it. And we're also still awaiting, Anna Paulina Luna says they're working with the National Archives to where the JFK assassination, RFK, and MLK will all just be publicly available. Everything on the National Archives page. Where it's not just one little thing. No, it's there. That's the landing page.
And actually, that's a good thing because it gives you a place to go back and do some research.
Well, the big one I want Kash to look into is who is Thomas Matthew Crooks and why did he try to kill the now president?
That was something I read last night, that now that he is in there, they expect to start releasing some information on both the assassination attempts. So, we haven't heard anything.
No.
Not one single thing. And something else I read, a funny article last night, or not so funny if you're in on it, about our two folks that are still stranded in space. There was a story that mentioned because of Elon Musk and his love for Donald Trump that the Biden administration was very hesitant to ever reach out to him.
No, Elon himself reached out and I just gave him the cold shoulder.
I'm needing the world's help right now, and I got some old man that's got a vengeance against Joey, so he's not going to call Joey, who has the keys to let me out of here?
Politics, man. Yeah, it can be a nasty game.
Well, when we were talking about NASA and Elon Musk, I would have thought that I would have been safer traveling under NASA's banner. But now I'm seeing NASA will leave you hanging out to dry. Elon Musk is more likely to come and go, hey, let's get, and have the ability to come get you. Because he's the one that's going to rescue these guys as it is. And they say by the end of March is the new date.
I'll love to see that. I would love
to
see that. That'll be a great news day.
It will. I worry about the females' mental health. There's been a lot of reports. And I can
We're
only
being
imagine.
stuck up there.
Yeah, dude, we're going for a 3-hour tour.
Right. Well, before we hit another break, this part of the program brought to you by Dillon Rings. Of course, Dillon Rings is not open this week because Josh's mother passed away. They were in Texas, laying her to rest. And so y'all lift up Josh Ryder and his family in prayer. And Dillon Rings, it's great to have them as a sponsor. They really are great. All service, full service jewelry shop. They do it all. Custom designs, repairs, spa treatments, an amazing selection Leslie puts together. But at the end of the day, they're friends. They're great people. Great, a staple here of the local community, especially some of you folks up in Wetumpka really know them.
They're great folks, man.
And so, again, Dillon Rings is closed this week, but they'll be back open next week. And I appreciate them as a sponsor, but I appreciate more just getting to know Josh and Leslie over these last years now.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
At Guardian Credit Union, we believe that banking should be personal, just like the relationships we build with members. Imagine a place where you're not just a credit score, but a valued part of our community. At Guardian, our dedicated team takes the time to listen, understand, and tailor financial solutions that fit your unique needs. From buying a car to saving for college and even starting a small business, we've got you covered. Come experience the Guardian difference and let's achieve your financial goals together. Guardian Credit Union, where you belong. Federally insured by NCUA.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Welcome back. What a show today. It's been kind of freewheeling, though, I have to say. You've been you're like Schopenhauer's here in the studio hosting the show with me.
All right, I'll look him up.
True pessimist, yeah.
A pessimist.
A pessimist.
See now, yeah.
Like a deep one.
Have my moments.
No, and you almost verged on DOGE, and he's the dog. I was like, what is he going to pee on me? Like, what is this?
Show ain't over yet.
What are we in, an NSA chat room? Let's go to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
What's up, Ray?
Hey, guys, what a good show. I was able to listen to the last part. I got to say, when COVID hit,
Yes, sir.
actually right before COVID hit, when it was just getting started over in China, and they were saying, hey, these people died, these people died, these people died, I told Angel, I said, this ain't going to be good.
Yep.
And I remember hearing an article about somewhere in California or somewhere out west running out of toilet paper. And I told her, I said, hey, I don't sound like a nut, but go buy a bunch of toilet paper.
You were leading the charge.
And she did. And then I called Mama, and Dad said his whole garage looked like a toilet paper factory. And then when it hit, and everything went bonkers, we had toilet paper. Now, we didn't have the other supplies that we needed, like Clorox wipes and the mask. That would have been nice to have. But I'll be doggone, we had toilet paper. We were the cleanest house in the round. And I still have to be careful because it never really freaked me out. It freaked Angie out.
Yeah.
And poor old Sailor, because she's so smart, she really was wigging out about it. Maybe I was running 100 miles an hour selling carpet like there was no tomorrow.
Exactly. Ain't got time for that crap. Selling carpet.
I mean, we sold so much, and I had to be careful because everybody's like getting really upset about it. And I'm over here thinking, this could last another 10 years. I'm fine. This is great. There's nobody on the road.
Yep.
Wasn't even
Traffic was great. Yeah.
Yeah. We went to Atlanta for a meeting one time, and it looked like a thing from The Walking Dead. There was nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. I'm like, Dad, look around. This is crazy. And we had a red light. I said, what are you doing? Just go. And he said, really? And he just ran the red light.
Good times.
Oh, yeah, good times. Good times. But, hey, listen, if you are in need of a floor of any kind, we're actually back here with Travis taking apart all this new equipment for the epoxy floors. So epoxy floors, ceramic tile, laminate, vinyl plank, any type of flooring whatsoever, give us a call, 285-8117, and we'll come out and give you that measurement next. I mean, we can leave right now and give you the measurement if you need us to.
Nice.
Again, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio with Joey and Eddie.
Hey, guys, have a great day.
See you, bro, him.
Well, what did we learn today?
Oh, we learned quite a bit.
We need to start clarifying our Davids.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we got a lot of good Daves and Davids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we learned that some people like Trump, some people don't.
Well, sometimes it's good to yell and bellyache and scream at one another. We're all emotional animals, aren't we, at the end of the day?
I'm not. I'm smooth all the time. Until I'm not.
Oh, goodness gracious. But now we learned that they're playing, they're being too cute by half with this Epstein files release. Just put it out already, man.
Well, plus I think to go local here, I think our governor's kind of showing her true colors. And I'm hoping that more and more people really see and just look into it.
The petty vindictiveness of it all. Yeah.
Captain Petty calling Captain Petty.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, you don't get to have your little dinner party with me. Wow.
Yeah, and I just, that one, just kind of below the belt there.
Yeah, hopefully nothing. But I did like the reminder from Jeff Deist of like, I think he's lived in California. He's lived in D.C. He's like, guys, it's pretty good here.
It is, but we don't ever want it to be. Ever.
Oh, and one study I didn't get to, maybe we can get to it tomorrow on noon to 3 Central Time, folks. Over half of women in their early 30s are now having menopause symptoms. It's fine.
I just thought they were all.
And you're like, get out there and date, young man.
I'm sorry. I've been giving you bad advice.
Yeah.
Just, there's a couple of countries you should go to, I think.
Like, I'm only 36. I don't know how to deal with hot flashes. Hot flashes, really? I don't know how to deal with that.
Joey, I'm 55. I don't know how to deal with hot flashes.
Then you see my point, though. You got 20 years on me.
Yeah, but some of these women started in their 30s, and they just, it goes on for a while. I'm thinking you don't need an American woman.
I like it the way you're thinking.
I really do. I've been going down this rabbit hole.
Polish.
Pretty close.
Gold card Polish. Gold card Polish.
You got that.
Find some rich, smoking hot babe from Poland who's got money.
Do Polish people have money?
Some of them do.
Like hot dog vendors or something?
We'll be back tomorrow. Greg Vidal's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
If that's our news, I'm Jason Walker. President Trump will be going to England in the future. Today, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer extending a state visit invitation to Mr. Trump on behalf of King Charles. The Prime Minister and President holding talks today at the White House.